Welcome to MINDSHOCK. This is your host, Bruce McGuire. I was going to say MINDSHOCK there. Yes, I am MINDSHOCK. Bruce McGuire is MINDSHOCK. We are going to do more of a preview, as this was a long conversation. I'm just going to be doing a logical analysis on the Should Women Vote section here as uploaded into triggernometry clips. And we're not going to be using the logical fallacy counter. I'm going to be doing that for the full analysis. But I did want to just do this one real quick because I don't think I've actually gone over Andrew Wilson yet. Many think he's the greatest debater ever. Obviously, I do not share that view. He's pretty good, but he's got some blind spots. And he sometimes does spiral into his own fallacies. Obviously, Austin Whitsitt in modern history. I do not say that lightly. I have broken down quite a few of his debates. He appears to commit the fewest fallacies out of anyone debating any topic ever. Now, here, Andrew Wilson is very, very good, though. Is he number 2? I don't know. If I had to guess, I would say no. Is he top 10 out of the most popular debaters online debating? Probably yes. Now, this other guy here, obviously he looks pretty goofy. KONSTANTIN Kisin. Weird name. Now, this guy claims to be some kind of anti-woke comedian. And I've seen some clips of his interviews. He interviews a bunch of different people. I mean, he held Neil deGrasse Tyson's feet to the fire on his gender idiocy. Neil deGrasse Tyson, obviously, one of the dunning-kruger champions in the world right now, just off the charts dunning-kruger from Neil deGrasse. So KONSTANTIN Kisin has some moments where he appears to be anti-woke, but in other segments, I mean, he argues like a completely brain-dead woke Democrat. Just no mental capacity whatsoever. So we'll see which Kisin we get here. But usually, I mean, he's kind of heralded as being relatively balanced and sound-minded. I just haven't really seen it. I mean, it's a low bar if you're trying to figure out what a man or woman is. That's a low bar. So even if he can figure that out, I mean, that's a low bar. I'm just not impressed with people who can figure out the difference between a man and a woman. I'm just not impressed. But triggernometry and this Kisin goof, they've been really popular online. Critter Mama saying, I don't know either of these gentlemen. Well, Andrew Wilson, you should know if you're interested in debate, because he is top 10, no question. No question, he's top 10. I have Austin Whitsitt at number 1. I don't even know who number 2 is. I mean, this is going to sound crazy to most people, but Eddie Bravo's pretty good. If you noticed in his decimations of Joe Rogan, Eddie Bravo usually prefaces, well, I don't know what the truth is. I'm just asking, I'm just looking, I'm skeptical here. Those are all very logical positions, and it puts you in a place where you don't easily commit fallacies because you're not making positive claims. Welcome, Dragon Tracer. Brian Cash. So, yeah, well, this will just be a preview of the full breakdown where I will be using the counter and the logical analysis system. Unlike anything else out there here in MINDSHOCK, we have logic and reason at the forefront. If you want to help support the podcast, you can donate to our PayPal. Check the link in the description. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, and Patreon. Patreon's a good priority for case topic logical analysis, co-podcast requests. You could also be a guest in the podcast depending on your tier. Questions, comments, theories, thoughts, suggestions, rebuttals, debunkings of any kind. Leave them in the comments section. You could also become a YouTube member right here on YouTube. So, as always, these logical analysis breakdowns are not about conclusions. Now, a lot of goofs, a lot of authority-worshipping cultists, coincidence theorists, statists, scientism cultists just the mainstream masses, the NPCs, etc. They're all about jumping to a conclusion or character assassinations. No, very few people are interested in, let's figure out what the truth is regardless of what it is. And let's not commit logical fallacies while doing so. MINDSHOCK seems to be one of the few bastions of logic and reason left in this world. Jeff says, Eddie usually asks a question and not make a statement. That's his strength, in my opinion. Yes, and that's being logical, right? You're not getting emotionally attached to any particular outcome while remaining skeptical and not taking anything on blind faith. Like goofs like Joe Rogan, who can only spam appeal to authority, appeal to credentials, logical fallacies. Welcome, Christopher Allen. So yeah, let's get this started. The topic is, should women vote? And again, I'm not going to be making a claim on whether they should or they shouldn't. We are examining here who is more logical. And as always, we are also going to be factoring in psychology. I believe the two go hand in hand, and I advocate for both. You could check out the Logic and Psychology playlist on the Bruce McGuire channel here. Dozens and dozens of hours examining coincidence theorist versus conspiracy theorist, aka critical thinker, corruption aware psychology. So again, this is more of a preview clip without using the fallacy counter system, as I wanted to get it going sooner rather than later. In a couple weeks, I'll have more time. I'll be doing more of the full breakdowns with the full system.
So describe to me the America. Describe to me the America that you want. What does it look like?
And again, you see with like intellectually weak people, like people with very, very limited mental capacities, like Konstantin Kisin here is exposing himself to be. And Piers Morgan does this all the time. They're so interested in the personal instead of the truth. Instead of saying, well, what is the best? What is the best society? Like, what does the best society look like? And how do we get there? It's always like, what do you think based on your this, and that? So because narcissists, like, I don't know if Kisin is a narcissist or not, maybe, but narcissists usually only think in terms of I and me. And they also think everybody else thinks like that, because they think it's normal to be a narcissist because they don't consider themselves narcissists. So if you have column A and column B, column A is narcissist, column B is non-narcissist. Narcissists don't consider themselves to be narcissists, so they put themselves in the non-narcissist category. So if they're assuming someone else is also not a narcissist, they're always framing it from the I and from the me perspective. And you can see Kisin is already doing this here. This is just a preview, though, so this is, like, not what they're starting with. But I'm just playing the video of the clip. It's about 20 minutes.
What are you mean by tomorrow?
Well,
let's say I was king tomorrow?
Well, you seemed very keen on this idea, which I'm sure you're excited about. What I mean is, ultimately,
Again, always framing with you're this, you're that, instead of what is the truth, what is the best.
You want to transform America into something that it used to be, or that you'd like it to be, or whatever. Let's not argue about that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let's just say you want America to be a certain way. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay, what does it look like once you've got to that destination? Once you've got to that perfect America, which represents your values?
And again, a non-narcissist would frame it, what does the perfect America look like? What is the America that's best for everyone? Just the most ideal society moving forward from this point. What does it look like? That's what that's how non-narcissists talk. Narcissists always frame everything from the I and the me for themselves and for whom they're talking to, because they would rather attack the person they're talking to then actually objectively, logically, and neutrally decipher a topic to get to the root issues in a logical fashion.
Someone who's really interested in Christianity being the dominant force in society. What
Well,
can you do? What you
yeah.
can't? How is it different from what we have to do?
So I think,
Would women be allowed to vote?
I mean, to at least the degree that men are, but I don't want men to vote for the most part either. I don't think it's a great idea.
But
I
it
wanna
would be
contract
equal
it.
between men and women.
This is another thing you see, from woke goofs, leftist goofs, statist goofs. They want everything to be equal. They don't even give a crap what it is, as long as it's equal. As long as it's equal. Who cares about what's actually best for both men and women? Like, who cares what a better society that would have a better outcome for both men and women would be? They don't want that. They just want things equal. Like, the mental deficiency, like, it's almost like this guy claims to be anti-woke, but it looks like the woke mind virus fully has his brain, except for certain areas, for maybe in certain trans issues or, identifying men from women. He's maybe functional in those ways, but look at how just he's arguing from this desperation of equality on paper over what's actually best for all humanity, and also specifically what's best for men and what's best for women. If the best outcome for both men and women does not involve equality, and obviously that doesn't mean men are higher, women are lower, or women are higher, men are lower, it obviously, that's a false dichotomy. It would be in certain areas women could be higher, in other areas men can be higher. But the goofery, like the mental capacity is just not there to comprehend that. So it has to be just a flat equality across the board, even if it collapses civilization. So it's kind of hard to respect a guy like Kisin when the mental capacity is just not there. And you could even see from the micro expressions. Look how confident Andrew Wilson is. And again, I have some major issues with Andrew Wilson's debate tactics in certain ways, because he also appeals to authority in the form of the Bible or religion and false dichotomizes in many ways. And I'll be getting to those in other breakdowns. I wanted to watch more full debates of his before I tackled that, but it's very, very interesting for logical breakdowns. And of course, he's usually arguing against mental midgets, like Kisin is painting himself to be right here just off the bat. The mental midgetry in framing everything from narcissism, and then also from a false dichotomy, hasty generalization appeal. It's just so interesting that this is called triggernometry, and is it him himself being triggered? Because the very notion of things being not equal triggers the goof to the point of, some people describe it as suicidal empathy. Like a lot of Democrat goofs, they want to import as much of the third world as possible into the first world because some of those people have bad lives, and they would rather, they don't really care what the percentage skew is. Whether it's 90% murderers, psychotics, and then 10%, good people that were just subjected in their home country. They'd rather also let in the 90% murderers to just completely destroy society and collapse the civilization from a point of suicidal empathy. So goofs like Kisin, it seems like the trigger point is if things are not equal. For whatever reason, he's willing to die on the hill of equality, even if the equality is going to result in a worse outcome for everyone. CJ548 says it's female nature to promote female nature. Yes. Dragon Tracer says nuance is missing. Everything has to be measured with the same tape. Yes. It's just so weird because this doesn't require a high mental capacity. Like, even preschool kids understand. Like, sometimes when preschool kids are working on a group project, someone's better at painting the pictures and someone else has better handwriting. So when they make a presentation for their group project for the preschool group, it's not equal. People They have the kids play to their strength to create the greatest outcome for all. So even preschoolers can understand this, but for whatever reason, Democrats, woke goofs, and even Konstantin Kisin here, they just can't grasp it. They just can't manage. They just can't manage. They just can't manage. Now, call me crazy, but you just didn't see this level of sheer outright mental disability in the 80s, 90s, and even early 2000s. Again, I have stated that 2011 was the line of demarcation from the world that was and the world that is. Not just in Hollywood, yes, most movies pre-2011 could potentially be good. Post-2011, it's slim pickings, just about nothing in the realm of entertainment that is very competently and talently produced. It's just woke goofery just took over. Dragon Tracer says, Bruce, when you talk like that, I can't stop laughing. I'm just trying to illustrate the point. I'm trying to break it down into the most simple terms possible. Like, when I started the podcast, I never thought I would have to dumb things down to single digit IQ levels. I just don't know how to dumb it down further. Like, is it possible to dumb it down further? Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but I can't dumb it down further than that. I just can't do it. I can't do it. Welcome, Flat Bob. Critter Mama says, reality is men and women have different strengths. Yes, and that never used to be controversial, did it? Did it? I would say pre-2011. Obviously there's some outlier goofs. But pre-2011, I don't think that was controversial. Look at the rise of Andrew Tate. All he does is state basic common sense, and he became the most radical figure in the world. From just stating common sense that everybody knew and understood pre-2011, but definitely in the 80s and 90s. Jeff says, only males, no women with immigration. It's weird. No matter how many illegals murder innocent men, women, and children, leftist goofs will still cheerlead the importation of the third world, saying, well, local citizens commit crimes at a higher rate. So first of all, we don't know if that's true or not. If you guys want to get into that, I do have some stats on that. Do you guys want to get into that? I kind of want to keep it to this analysis, though, but maybe we'll go over that in the next live. I always bring the receipts. You guys know I always have the receipts. It's actually difficult to calculate that, because a lot of the illegals are unknown, and in crimes where the perpetrators are not caught, it's not known who committed the crime. So you actually don't really there are no actual real statistics, but it depends on the area. So in certain areas, illegals do commit crimes at a higher rate. But even if they didn't, why would you add more crime? Like, that's the thing. Like, there's just no, regardless of what the level currently is, why would you want it to be higher? Like, how does it, doesn't really make any sense unless you really are suicidal. You want civilization suicide under the guise of empathy. And all these woke goofs, they're so mentally weak, they're just easily manipulated by the powers that be.
In your view. Really? It doesn't sound like it. If you want household... Well, what I mean is...
And again, notice how this goof is so triggered. Like, if Andrew Wilson said both men and women would be subjugated and beaten in basements, the only thing Kisin cares about, are they going to get the same amount of whips? Is it equal? That's the only thing he cares about. Like, notice the psychological reveals here. And if it's not equal, that's what he has a problem with. Not anything else. And it's just so weird. It's just so weird. Like, why? How does this make any logical sense? And how are goofs like Kisin heralded like they Destiny too? Like, all these brain dead goofs, although Kisin's nowhere near as bad as Destiny. I'm not claiming he's as bad as Destiny. I'm just comparing the amount of followers these guys have that cheerlead them and hold them in this high status as if they're these great intellectual debaters. I see nothing but gophery here. I see nothing but gophery.
It sort of sounds like, well, forgive me if I'm misunderstanding this genuinely, you'd like people to get married and to vote as a household, which I imagine would kind of mean that the head of the family, which is the husband, would tend to decide that. And if a woman isn't married, presumably she wouldn't be getting a vote, partly for that reason.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, what's wrong with that system? Sounds great.
I'm just interested in explaining. Well, it sounds great to you. I'm just interested in.
The thing is like, it's really hard. It's really difficult. When people think of things like, what's the argument against this?
And notice, so most of the time, Andrew Wilson even he's kind of like Austin Whitsitt in a way. He has to, when the person he's debating is so utterly clueless and mentally deficient, he almost has to make the arguments for them. He basically has to steel man their own position because they can't do it themselves. I mean, it's just so crazy. It's so crazy, the level of mental deficiency people like Austin Whitsitt and Andrew Wilson have to deal with. I mean, it's wild. Because notice how Andrew Wilson asked him, what's wrong with that system? Maybe the system is good, maybe it's not. And Kisin had nothing. He just, it sounds good to you. And again, always framing everything, does it sound good to you, to me, whatever, instead of actually debating the system itself. Instead of having an actual argument with merit. He only narcissistically focuses on what he thinks about it, or projects that focus on what how his opponent is viewing the system, all through the lens of themselves in this narcissistic stupor.
This is an immutable character. How could you argue that women shouldn't be able to vote or that men shouldn't be able to vote? It's like, well, at our founding, they couldn't. Women could not vote.
Well, at your founding, as you said yourself, you had slavery, right? So things do change over.
What non-congruent argument, non sequitur, diversion, red herring, logical fallacy. I mean, again, it's all emotional, right? And it's also emotional, right? Like, he didn't pick a topic that doesn't trigger people to say, oh, well, things do change. I mean, this guy, I don't know who the goof sitting next to him is or what his opinion is. I would actually like to hear it. I mean, he looks pretty dumb. But again, that doesn't mean he's wrong. That's why it's not an ad hom that I just committed, because I didn't make the claim that he was wrong. I didn't make any claim. I just said he looks dumb, but it would be interesting to see how he would debate Andrew Wilson, because Kisin is just flopping here. I mean, this is horrible. I mean, he just did a quintuple logical fallacy stack invoking slavery on matters of men versus women voting. I mean, this is typical woke leftist tactics, and he's supposedly anti-woke? I just don't understand how this guy even got a platform. What is Kisin's claim to fame here? He's some kind of comedian, supposedly? I mean, it's just weird. CJ548 says, would be hard to find someone smarter than Whitsitt in this side of YouTube. I would like Whitsitt to debate Andrew Wilson. Hold on a second. Did they debate? For some reason, I remember seeing something about the both of them, but I don't know if they actually debated. I don't know. But yeah, I want to see Andrew Wilson debate against Flat Earth. That would be interesting. Because he's supposedly a Christian. So what he thinks about the Bible, etc. Critter Mama says, the algorithm uses male-female automatically. Crazy, yeah. Jeff says, we shouldn't wait on the elite and their system to change in our benefit. In a corrupt system, the only way to make lasting change is from the bottom up, by the way. Well, you can't, actually. The only way to win is to not play. You can't beat a rigged, corrupt system. Immortal Technique actually had a great line in one of his songs. I forgot which one it was, but he was talking about how people get into government to make positive change, and then the system ends up changing them, which is true, or they get killed. What's the other saying? All the heroes either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain. That's very interesting, isn't it? We should do a whole podcast on that. That's fascinating to just look at historical figures and also in fiction on how that manifests. It's very, very interesting. CJ548 says, masculine and feminine is the very basis of all reality. That's why they don't want people understanding it. Flatpop says, you should look up Flat Earth Deplorable and look at his information in his post. Witsit is shady at the very best. I haven't seen any of that. CJ548 says, highly intelligent people tend to get targeted by MK Ultra programs. That is also true. Chris Topher says, immortal technique for the win. Yeah, I mean, he's a weird commie, like politically. I don't understand how. I don't know, maybe he's a shell, but obviously, I mean, he's probably, in my opinion, like him and DMX were like the realest rappers and possibly the best as well. I did a whole series on DMX.
Time.
Sure, but the thing is like...
Sometimes in a good direction.
Sure, it's sometimes in a bad direction.
Oh, absolutely.
So the thing is like, the idea that they had there was that most men couldn't vote. There was no universal suffrage for men, including slaves, right? For the most part, were men. And women couldn't vote because most people weren't allowed to vote. Now, women, the arguments against women voting are pretty simple, and the idea is landholdership and force, right? Can women utilize force in order to maintain land? The answer is no. Generally, that takes men. So the biggest...
Also, Andrew Wilson's fixation on force doctrine, while applicable to modern society and what is, it's kind of a departure from a philosophical sense and the non-aggression principle. But I haven't seen anything that indicates Andrew Wilson is against statism. If anything, he appears to be in favor of statism and the subjugation of humanity.
Like if you're looking at feminism, for instance, you had the anti-suffragettes and then the suffragettes. But the anti-suffragettes arguments were way better. The argument was pretty simple. It just worked like this. You cannot erode or get rid of the patriarchy because you always have to appeal to it for your rights. And that's a fundamental truth. And since that's a fundamental truth...
Not exactly. So here, this is a diversion fallacy as well. So within the framework of statism, yes. Within the framework of statism. Also, kind of, with modern technology, now again, I'm not advocating for women in the military or whatever, but you have, let's say, again, this is for hypothetical, theoretical purposes only, YouTube, before this podcast gets censored and shut down instantly. If you had even just a couple thousand well-trained women with some lighter machine guns and grenades and drone operators, theoretically, hypothetically, they could collapse a government. They could. They can go to the Capitol and take it out. Now, I don't know of any, 1,000 unit female commando unit that is trained specifically to do that, but hypothetically, theoretical, that is possible. That is possible. So on its face, you don't really need to appeal to the patriarchy. And the patriarchy itself, it's almost like that's a diversion fallacy in and of itself by the Illuminati in order to divide and conquer. Because how do you even define it? And in general, like, what is Western society? Western society is more of a matriarchy than a patriarchy now. I mean, you have so many women holding positions of power or men promoting female interest above their own. I mean, just look at how feminism has collapsed the entire economy and driven inflation to incredible highs. I mean, obviously, in line with, the birth control pill and abortion and all that since the 70s, that's all so out of control. It wasn't necessarily like society looks more like a matriarchy than a patriarchy. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he's intentionally committing this diversion fallacy or he's just unintentionally. I don't know. It's weird.
Truth, I've never seen a great reason why women should be able to vote. Because they can vote to send men to war that they themselves do not have to go fight. They are not beholden to the draft. Only men are.
For some reason, this is such a triggering point for goofs, for woke goofs. All right, Johnny Sizzlechest in the chat here. Funniest expletive is him struggling to open the pickle jar. Yeah, that was hilarious. Johnny Sizzlechest says, also the lesbian chick made him melt down and he had to attack her character. Expletive hilarious. No, you're wrong on that one. He didn't melt down. He was laughing at her using the same tactics she was using. I don't know, I don't know if you fell for that, the woke posts pretending he was melting down. He was throwing the same strategy in her face to illustrate how dumb it was. Because if you listen to the full video, he illustrated all of his points and completely destroyed her. That was like one of the biggest destructions in the history of the internet. I should have done a logical analysis on that, but it's kind of hard to sit through because does she identify as female? Whoever he was debating there, it was some of the most brain dead ramblings I have ever witnessed in debate. So I don't know if I could sit through that. Maybe I should just to count the fallacies there. But he actually didn't commit fallacies doing that because he made his arguments in addition to those personal attacks. She didn't. So, yeah, she didn't make him melt down at all. He basically was using her as a dunning-kruger puppet to prove a point, which he proved, but I guess that point was lost on many people. Jeff says, patriarchy is the elite. Spot on, Bruce. Dragon Tracer says, music recommendations. Chris Webby, Connecticut-based independent rapper with brilliant lyrical skills. Very versatile. Obviously system critical. Check him out, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, let's go over him on the next live. Jeff says, can't believe these women have a college degree. It shocked me about the quality of education. Yeah, I first saw that in the 90s, actually. In the mid to late 90s, there were women with these master's degrees walking around thinking they're intelligent. It was just weird. I mean, now, obviously, some of them were intelligent. Most of them were not. I don't know what the skew is. I really don't. And this is I'm not claiming this is true in any way, so therefore it's not an anecdotal logical fallacies, because I'm not claiming it's representative of reality. But what I've seen, in the 90s, it was still 80 to 90% skew on these women with these upper-level degrees being borderline retarded. Now it's like 99.9%. Anecdotally, I'm not claiming that's representative of reality. I haven't interviewed every single college graduate to see that, but just college is practically useless now. But back in the 80s and 90s, it wasn't completely useless. So, yeah. CJ548 says, the feminine despises truth, masculine despises lies. Yeah, that's a hasty generalization fallacy as well. One could even argue there's two lines of feminine, one from Eve and one from Lilith. So the feminine line from Lilith, the mother of demons and vampires, etc., that's the evil Jezebel line. And then the feminine line from Eve, that is the good, nurturing mother line. So these are two different lines. And that seems to explain reality far more, does it not? And the Lilith Jezebel line, these are the basically the Democrat women, the woke goofs, the promiscuous woke goofs. And the Eve line are the good women who will sacrifice all for their children and the continuation of their family. And it's not even a thought. Shiny real guns, psychologically projecting in the chat here. Doesn't sound like that many women speak to you. If not that many women speak to me, how could I separate the feminine lines? How would I have enough examples to have 2 lines? Critter Mama says, it's obvious women were essential during World War II. Home defense, nurses, communications. Women and men can work well together by recognizing strengths. Yes. And that's, like I said, that's pretty much learned in preschool, kindergarten. And yet there's so many supposedly functioning adults that just can't grasp those concepts. They just can't do it. They just can't do it. CJ548 says, the movie AI explains reality. I haven't seen that one. Is that with the Osmith kid? The feminine is the robots. Lilith was version 1. Eve is version 2. The future is man and machine, like Jesus said. Gospel of Thomas 1:14. Chin Chin says, I just got here and I just got to say, give this man a jar of olives. Was it olives or pickles? CJ548 says, the last thing Buddha did to achieve enlightenment was reject female nature. Yeah, let's, reductive logical fallacies reduce a concept to something they cannot be reduced to. Flap Bob, you could let shiny real guns melt down, right? We could use some entertainment. We could laugh at them. Unless goofs just start spamming things that aren't as entertaining, then we could boot them.
And they can say, well, you're not beholden to the draft, perhaps because you're too old for it. But you were beholden to the draft when you were not too old for it. So your time could have come.
Could you not flip this argument the other way around and say women are able to vote, men are able to vote on things that affect women that don't affect men?
Like?
Well, all kinds of things. For example, their right to vote.
What? Wait, is this guy... Okay, now I'm officially going to have to say, is this guy retarded? Is this guy completely retarded? How do women voting... How does that not affect men? Is this guy completely brain dead? Like, how does this guy have any kind of a following? This is weird. I mean, if Destiny has a following, I guess this guy could have a following. How would that not affect men? Did he not listen to what Andrew Wilson just said about war? Voting for people to send you to war and die doesn't affect you? Like, this guy completely mentally disabled?
I mean, among other things, but, you know, things with sexual health, abortion, all kinds.
Wait, what? So, okay, he thinks abortion has nothing to do with men? So having your unborn child get murdered has nothing to do with you? A child that would eventually become a man but is not allowed to exist has nothing to do with men? Is this guy completely mentally gone? I mean, this is Destiny level retardation minus the verbal diarrhea speed. Destiny level retardation minus the verbal diarrhea speed of delivery. How do those issues, like, how does killing someone's unborn children not have anything to do with them? What is this guy smoking? What? Wow. I mean, and look at Andrew Wilson. He's like, uh-oh, I gotta deal with it. It's almost like it was at this moment Andrew Wilson realized he was debating a complete retard. Look at his face. Look at Andrew Wilson's face. The stern consternation in realizing the level of mental disability that exists even in supposed high-level debaters or well-regarded podcasters, so to speak. Wow, this is terrible. This is terrible. CJ548 says, even modern psychology shows it's impossible for the female to move past the 4th plateau with the 8 levels of compassion. We need to do a psychology podcast on that, actually. We do need to do that. Okay, so these movie directors have very high IQ, so they recognize patterns normal people cannot. Well, also, the movie Blade Runner is also about female nature. Well, okay, not all the directors wrote the movie. Some of them are used as useful idiots, but... Jeff says, oh, Jeff to CJ548, women were built different before, but right now I think you are right. Well, here's the thing. The women that are getting all the attention on Instagram, all the narcissism and all that, the women that aren't on Instagram, that aren't on these social media platforms humiliating themselves, they're working on the farm. Those women are probably still good women, similar to the women of yesteryear. Now, that might not be a high percentage, but they're still out there and they might be built the same as the women of the past. Duck and Felony says, I just put my business profile up instead of my old one. Oh, Flat Bob says Duck and Felonies looks different. Duck and Felonies, what a great name. Critter Mama says, fortunately our Constitution is all-inclusive. Citizens have rights, voting, and other, regardless of intelligence. I'm not sure I am not sure that's fortunately at all. How is that fortunate? Even the qualifications of a citizen were actually different when it was written as well. Because here's the thing, and this is a common point. Anybody, not the biggest fan of Michael Malice, but he does articulate points well against statism, and he articulated one particular point is that democracy, well, first of all, democracy is evil on its face. That's mob rule. So your neighbors can vote for your own son. And I'm not, obviously that's not the U.S. The U.S. is a constitutional republic. But just on the concept of voting in a democracy, which carries over into the Constitution and statism, people that are not smart enough to govern themselves do not have the intelligence to vote for those that would govern in their best interest. Let me repeat that again. People who don't have the intelligence to govern themselves do not have the intelligence to vote for those that would govern in their own best interest. Again, just look at Democrats, suicidal empathy. Just look at all the policies being put in place. Now, let's not do a reductive logical fallacy or a false dichotomy. Obviously, that's not the only variable. The powers that be are corrupt to the core and are gaslighting and brainwashing and propagandizing the masses at an unimaginable scale through all these psyops. So there's also all of that going on at the same time, but it doesn't change the core point. It doesn't change the core point, because if you have a basic level of intelligence, why would you need statism? Like, what's the point? I have a perfect meme for this, actually. I need to put this up right now to perfectly illustrate this. And of course, what has government ever done other than make things worse? Now, there's always going to be murderers and thieves out there, but government just adds to the amount and makes everything worse for the masses. Alright, let me see if I could find this one. Oh, here we go. This is perfect. Statism, the brilliant idea that we give a small group of people the right to kidnap, steal from, and kill us so that we can be protected from people who kidnap, steal from, and kill us. So now you just have more crime. Statism just brings up the total amount of murder and robbery. Now, again, Andrew Wilson, I haven't really heard him say much on statism, but from the way he debates, it seems like he's in favor of statism and force doctrine. Flapop says streetwise and bookwise is still subjective. Yes, indeed, to a certain extent. But there, there's commonalities of not being easily fooled. Alright, let's continue this.
of things, right?
Well, I don't understand. Abortion does have to do with men.
Okay, fine. I mean, it does, but it has more to do with women because it affects them more directly.
For 9 months, maybe. And who's the judge of more directly? Does it affect their pocketbook more directly? Because again, it's almost like this guy's so mentally disabled. He hasn't weighed anything logically about what he's talking about. He's just regurgitating these talking points from the idiot box like all the other brain dead goofs. But for whatever reason, he has a platform. For whatever reason. Because let's say the father does not want a child. The mother aborts, or let's say the mother doesn't abort, and he does not want a child. The courts will still use that same force doctrine that this goof is hallucinating, supports patriarchy instead of matriarchy. The courts will threaten to put the man in a cage and take away his livelihood using force. They will use all of the force at their disposal. They'll use state mercenaries, they'll use clerks, accountants, etc. to force the man to pay for the child that he doesn't want until the child is 18. Furthermore, they will not audit. They will not audit the mother of the children to make sure that she uses that money for the child and not herself. So brain dead goofs like Kisin, it's like they've never even considered these very basic points. And so, yeah, it's just weird. Or, I mean, does he have a humiliation fetish as well and he knows he sounds stupid? Christopher says, I think he's playing devil's advocate. Nobody plays devil's advocate this stupidly unless they have a humiliation fetish, right? Like, you'd pick a better point to play devil's advocate, right? Like, unless you're this level of retard, how is that devil's advocate?
But lots of other things. I mean, men could pass a law that women have to wear a headscarf, for example, right? So
What? How would that be passed? What is he talking about? They couldn't. Not in America with a constitution. How would you pass that law? Like, the level of retardation here is stratospheric. I mean, look at Andrew Wilson's face. He's like, wow, this guy's stupid. How could you pass a law like that? What is he talking about?
our votes affect each other.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. If our votes affect each other, he just made the point again. He just proved the point against himself. The women are voting for things that affect men, which was Andrew Wilson's whole point on why women shouldn't vote. Is this guy so stupid he doesn't even realize he just proved the point against himself? Flat Bob asks, a retarded devil. Wow. I mean, I've never seen Kisin be this stupid. I've seen some little clips here and there where he was pretty dumb, but not this level of just pure retardation. It's kind of weird. Flat Bob says, feels over reels, Bruce. Yeah, feels over reels. If we had to pick a phrase that fully summarized the collapse of Western civilization, I think feels over reels would do it. And I went over all of that in the 80s and 90s Jumbo podcast. You guys can check that out as well. Flat Bob says, picking cherries is every goofatorium nut job's dream job. Flat Bob, how are you not laughing at your own statements? I mean, these are hilarious. Flat Bob, are you not cracking yourself up? I know you said other people are not making jokes funny enough to make you laugh. How are you not cracking yourself up with those? Oh, man. Oh, man. Jeff says, to pass the law, the women need to agree and vote accordingly. This is toddler intelligence. How is this guy not homeless? That's a great question. That's a great question. How is Konstantin Kisin not homeless? I like... But I kind of like how he just proved the point against himself. It's like, oh, but the votes affect each other. Because 2 seconds ago, do you guys not remember? Let me rewind it.
abortion.
For it, so your time could have come.
Could you not flip this argument the other way around and say women are able to vote, men are able to vote on things that affect women?
Like?
2 seconds later.
But it's the vote.
Oh, I don't know.
So our votes affect each other.
Oh man, just the level of retardation here. Like, that's a good question. How is this guy not homeless? Welcome, Sphinx Bear. Oh man. Oh man, Flat Bob says, I like to make people laugh even if I can't crack a smile on the outside. Dragon Tracer says, prime comedic value, bro. But I mean, how are you so retarded in the first place that you think in a country men and women can vote on things that don't affect each other? And then I guess you realize how retarded you are 2 seconds later, and then realize that votes affect each other. Oh man. Yeah, Dragon Tracer, yes, Flat Bob's comments are hilarious. Alright, let's continue this here.
That's not an argument to deny the other sex the vote.
What? Wait a second. Wait a second. That's not an argument to deny the vote? So, for example, if you have two groups, let's forget, because again, it is feels over reals with this goof. For some reason, he just gets triggered when it's about gender. Let's say you had a group of pacifists, male pacifists, who are allowed to vote, and it's the other way around. They vote to not mobilize an army while they're being invaded by barbarians to be destroyed, and their numbers are roughly equal to the men that want to preserve their society and their families and their children. So it's not a valid argument to deny a vote to people that could potentially vote for your extermination and the death of your family. Wow, the retard is strong with this one. How can does anybody have thoughts on this? Like, how is everybody else dissecting what this goof is saying? And this is also a false premise, because a false premise, he's saying it's not valid. How is it not valid, though? I mean, it's also technically a straw man, right? You're claiming invalidity without showing invalidity, as if it's invalid. How is... If the vote directly affects your survival, how is it not valid to deny the vote to people that aren't either liable for it or they would be okay? Like if the pacifists are okay with being exterminated, how is it not valid to remove them from the voting pool of those who do not want to be exterminated? Because just because the pacifists are okay with being destroyed, their vote doesn't usurp or override the natural human right to live of those that they would be voting for to die with them. I mean, this isn't rocket science. But Kisin, it's like there's just no mental capacity there. There's just none. There's absolutely none. I mean, is it the accent that makes people think he's intelligent? I mean, what is it? What is it? Come on, mind shockers. Can anybody dissect this guy? Critter Mama says that's why everyone has a citizen right to vote. Goofery balance. Goofery balance. That's the best theory I've heard so far. The new political theory of goofery balance. Oh man. Okay. Goofery balance. But regardless of goofery balance. That doesn't mean I mean, this is why there's a constitution, so you can't vote for the extermination of your human rights, even if you're in the majority. But how is Kisin so mentally disabled that he can't grasp the fact that denial of a vote to a certain demographic is valid if it costs, if it's at the if not denying the vote would cost you your human rights? And that's the thing, like, all of these woke leftist goofs, they claim to be about human rights, but they're all pro-abortion. They don't give a crap about unborn humans. They deny their humanity. They deny their personhood. They don't care if they're genocided en masse. And it's the same thing with for example, women voting as in regard to the draft. Because you're not liable, but you're going to cost someone else their life with your vote. Now, again, that's if Andrew Wilson didn't also say most men shouldn't vote either, he would be a little bit hypocritical, because another man does not have the right to cost you your life either. But anyway, Kisin can't comprehend any of this. He can't comprehend a single point here. Hidden Horror Show says White Knight for the demo that drives clicks. Yeah.
Oh, I don't understand.
Like, your argument is women can vote to send men to war. And
No,
my
argument is, it's called force doctrine. My argument reduces to this.
I wish Andrew Wilson hadn't interrupted him there, because he was about to dig his own grave even further there. He was about to make another non-congruent argument, fallacy spam.
If you always have to appeal to one sex for your rights, right, then why are you being imbued with the responsibility of that at all? Because women have to appeal to men for their rights, and anytime men want to take rights away from women, they can, like that. And there's not a damn thing women can do about it. And if you want proof of that, let me show you half the world.
Again, this in and of itself is a false dichotomy, because which men? It's false dichotomy, hasty generalization, logical fallacy. Again, it's not that it's untrue on its face, but men would fight other men, and always have, right, throughout history. You lose a war, you know, the women are pillaged and taken or whatever. So there's men fighting other men. Now he's saying, now I guess in this hypothetical, if all men were in agreement, sure. And that's his hypothetical, but that's fallacious on its surface too, because that is not the situation. That's a non-congruent argument as well, because that's not what's being chosen from, and that's not the situation. Same thing with different groups of men. Different groups of men. Not all men are united on any issue. And not all women are either. Even if it's, you know, even on abortion, some of the strongest anti-abortion advocates are, of course, women and female abortion survivors.
Anytime, collectively, men say women have no rights, they don't have any. And that's that. And there's not a damn thing that they can do about it. So the idea that they can erode the patriarchy or remove the patriarchy or in some way get away from the patriarchy to be strong, independent women is nonsense. They're just always appealing to the benevolence of men. Always. And so...
Look at these goofs sitting there. This Kisin goof looks like he just got steamrolled. Like he just doesn't understand. Like the mental capacity is just not there to understand any of these things. Or how the powers that be have weaponized feminism as a psyop for the destruction of all humanity, for both men and women being destroyed.
I don't even understand what the purpose is of the vote for women. What is it? We can literally, via force, take it whenever we want anyway. What is the point here?
Well, I would imagine the point is to include the voice of half the population, which is naturally set on different priorities to...
So again, look at how he's narcissistically framing it. I imagine Not it is because of this or these are the possibilities. It's always through the lens of narcissism. And so, is he admitting here it's just lip service? It's all lip service? It's all just theater and show to make it look like the female interests are considered? Is that a Freudian slip there? I mean, how mentally disabled is this guy? Is this all a show? Is he a shill? Like, what is that? Like, who here has heard of Kisin? It seems most people have not. Is anybody here familiar with Kisin and who's seen multiple interviews of his? Critter Mama says, if everything was great before women voted, I'd be a housewife and not dealing with all the drama, but abuse happened and women went to work. If we went backwards, how could you keep men righteous? Well, here's the thing, Critter Mama. There's way more abuse post-vote than pre. Have you looked at the stats? I think we went over this in Pearl decimating Anna Kasparin of the Young Turds. Abuse always happened and will always happen. That has nothing to do with the vote. And certain men would never be righteous, but government has corrupted men. I mean, statism, and just through inflation, I mean, it turned most men into criminals, and of course all the psyops, most men that are criminals into criminals, not the majority of men are criminals. The criminals that are criminals, most of them were made by government. Without government robbing them and preventing them from starting businesses through licensing and all of this corruption, more men would be able to earn a living wage and wouldn't have to turn to crime. Now, obviously, there will always be a percentage that will be criminals. But yeah, government always made everything worse. But yeah, I actually went over these stats, Critter Mama. Do you want me to bring them up again on the domestic abuse since women have been voting? It's skyrocketed. Here's also single mother families. And you see as soon as, post-vote, post-divorce stats, the violent crime just skyrockets across the board for the entire population. So even if it were true that women were being abused pre-right to vote, post right to vote, now you have more children and adults, male and female, being abused. So why would you want to increase total abuse? So you have the women being abused just as much or more, and then also children and other men being abused way more. So even if it were true, which it appears not to be from all the stats that I went over here, I had a few others here. Hold on a second. And we went over this in Pearl vs. Anna. The majority of debt is by females. Post-feminism. Post-getting degrees. So the amount they contribute to the GDP is defeated by the percent they're adding to the debt. To a certain extent, not completely, obviously. But these stats are all tough to dissect because they actually stopped tracking this. This is Treasury reports, because the divorced women, even if they're single, they're getting billions upon billions of dollars in alimony. So it's kind of hard to track all these with income tax returns, who's contributing what, etc. And then with all the box checking of affirmative action and DEI, it is unclear whether, well, I mean, it's kind of clear. men on average have a higher productivity rate than females. So that if women weren't in the workforce, the GDP would be even higher and the debt would be lower, as it was pre-feminism. Here are the domestic violence stats, Council Criminal Justice. So, for some reason, there was a little bit of a lull for a few years, and then it's skyrocketing back up in the 2020s. This is domestic violence. Also, it's kind of impossible to get to the stats on how many women abuse their husbands, both pre-voting and after voting, because most men don't report that. Here's STD cases with the rise of feminism being promoted in social media, obvious. Look at this skyrocket. What a skyrocket. Just, I mean, is there any aspect of society that has been made better, though, with women voting? I went over all this on Pearl versus Anna. Just complete decimation. I actually wasn't even aware to the extent of this, of a lot of this stuff. I was kind of surprised, actually. And domestic violence homicide is on the rise as well. So, you know, the Western society has never been more feminist than it is now. And domestic violence homicides are rising. Now, obviously, Northeastern is woke goofery, pretending it's guns, but regardless of what it is, we're talking about post-voting, post-feminism here. So all the stats appear to show that just all violence is way higher post-voting. Here's another interesting trend. We go over this one. This FBI stats from 1960. Look at the skyrocket to the 90s. And now it's come down, but nowhere near as much as it was. I mean, look at this is almost 1,000% increase. I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy. Or 10 time increase. Which would be about almost 1,000%. I mean, this is crazy. Absolutely crazy. And this is total crime for all victims, so including crimes to children. Who thinks this brain-dead goof Kisin is familiar with all of this? Who thinks this guy is actually aware of all of this? Jeff says, I think with these debates, they also put idiots on purpose for more views and indoctrination. Yeah, it's its own playlist, Critter Mama. It's Pearl versus Anna Kasparian. Just look for it in the playlists. It should be its own playlist. Yeah, maybe I should drop in here. Flat Bob says, do you really want to know if he's mentally disabled, Bruce? You shouldn't ask questions to which you do not want to know the answer. I do want to know. I want to know. I want to know. Can I not handle the truth about Konstantin Kisin's mental disability status? Here, hold on. Let me drop the link for Anna vs. Pearl. I think it had it in its own playlist. Maybe not. Maybe not. Alright, Alright, here's part 1. Oh, maybe I was waiting until I was going to complete all of them, because I'm not done with that one. I still have to finish. Here's part 1. Just dropped it in the chat of Anna vs. Pearl going over a lot of this. Flat Bob says, allowing women to vote only deepens the illusion that voting actually matters. Yeah, that's true as well. Dragon Tracer says, more and more women behave like narcissistic men, and men get the soy treatment. It's topsy-turvy, not all obviously, but too many. Yes, the inversion, the tactics of the devil to invert everything.
Those of men. And since we live in a society which is half female, it would be worthwhile to include their perspective in.
It would be worthwhile based on what? I mean, maybe it would be. Maybe it would be. But notice how these goofs never substantiate any arguments. Like, look at this retard. He's substantiated nothing. He's all feels over reels.
How we make decisions.
Why does voting...
Because it affects them as much as it affects us.
Well, wait, as much? But if they're not being sent to the front lines to get blown up, how is that as much? Like, this guy's completely brain dead. Like, how does... Man, like, I actually thought some of the respect might have been warranted. I mean, he does know the difference between a man and a woman, like with Neil deGoof Tyson. But that's a low bar. That's such a low bar. But nowadays, is that not a low bar? And that's why this guy has a platform. How does this guy have a platform if he thinks it's as much? Whether you're killed or not, I mean, that's... What could be more of a difference than getting killed versus not getting killed? I mean, this guy's mentally gone.
Have you... Let me ask you a question. Are you aware that in the United States, we abolished alcohol?
For a period of time. I've seen some movies about how that went.
Who got that amendment passed?
I don't know.
Women.
Okay. Oh, no. If you want to have an argument about our disagreements with how women choose to vote...
No.
There's not
they
much
couldn't vote.
Oh, I see. That's what...
This guy's slow. Man, Andrew's eviscerating this fool. This guy's so dumb. He doesn't even see the setups coming.
Yes, okay.
They couldn't vote.
But
they still got that amendment passed.
Okay.
This guy's mentally disabled complete. Okay, this answers the question right here. Regardless of whether he was a shill or not, there's no mental capacity here. There's just nothing. I mean, this is lower than remedial. I mean, there's... How does this guy have a platform? This is shocking. This is shocking. How is this guy not homeless is a great question.
The idea that women did not have influence or do not have influence or...
And look at him licking his lips in this retarded stupor. He does have enough mental capacity to realize that he's getting absolutely eviscerated.
Or don't have moral influence on society because they can't vote is stupid.
So what's wrong with formalizing that in the form of a vote?
Well,
what's right with it? Notice how the goof can never actually support any arguments, and he's just spamming nothing but fallacy, shifting the burden of proof right there.
I just told you.
One is not called upon to prove a negative. If you claim women should vote, back your position.
Very idea that women, well, like, let's start with this. Do you want women to be able to get drafted in the military?
I personally don't, no.
Why?
Repeating the question and laughing like a brain-dead retard. I mean, that's the nail in the coffin right there. I mean, this goof, did he not do any preparation for this debate? I have to ask the question I usually ask when people are this stupid. Is this humiliation fetishism? I think he actually started before Craig Fight the Flat Earth, so I can't say Craig inspired... I don't know if I could say Craig inspired this guy into humiliation fetishism. Perhaps this guy was into humiliation fetishism way before. But look at Andrew. He looks totally bored with this goof now. Like, the amount of mental midgetry that Andrew Wilson has to endure... I mean, it is kind of hard not to feel bad for the guy in that regard. The mental midgetry of guys like Kisin... All he could do is repeat the question and laugh in a brain-dead stupor. Oh, man. Oh, man. Wow, this is only 20 minutes, and we're not even halfway through. This is gonna be tough. This is gonna be tough. Flat Bob says, told ya, they're all retarded.
Because
It's like a kindergartner who got asked a question, like who's pretending to know something, then got called out, and it's just all nervous laughter.
I've never really thought about it.
So, admitting that you've never thought about something, yet you're gonna go on a public debate broadcast to the internet? I mean, that makes you retarded right there, even if you're not officially brain dead. Although this guy also appears to be brain dead. Like, just look at his face here. Like, can you imagine being so retarded to actually engage in something you have in a public debate or interview of something? Like, he knows who Andrew Wilson is, obviously. It's just so weird. It's so weird. Flat Bob says, I told you not to ask the questions to which you don't want to. No, I wanted the answer. I wanted the answer. Now I know. Now I know.
But it's just an instinctive reaction, actually.
It's an instinctive reaction. So the soy is strong with this one. Feels over reals.
I'd have to think about the exact reason, but I
Look how he's struggling with basic line. Look at the struggle on this goof's face with just basic kindergarten logic. Or is it preschool logic?
just don't think combat is what men do, I guess. It's a very simplistic way of saying it. And
Sure.
there'll be women who, I can kick your ass, and there are women
Sure.
like that, right?
Agreed. But not generally.
What I am not against.
Look at the goof stuttering. He couldn't even admit not generally. And it looks like Andrew Wilson knew he was too soy to admit that, which is why he set him up for that. I mean, just look at this goof scrambling for damage control in a typical woke goof cope spiral while pretending to be anti-woke. So is that his platform? Is it satire? Is triggernometry satire? That would explain a lot.
Against women serving in the military if that's what they choose to do.
Yeah, but what about the draft, though?
But I don't think they should be compelled to, no.
But men should?
I think in some circumstances, yes. Like when the survival of the country is at stake.
So women get a privilege men don't get?
Sure. Why,
And
men
so-
get certain privileges
But
too.
so why do they have equal?
What privileges do men get? Andrew Wilson should have jumped on him there. What privileges is he hallucinating men get that women don't get? Is there a single one?
rights? No? What privileges? Name a single privilege men get that women don't have.
Oh, here we go. I want to hear the answer. Who thinks this Kisin goof is going to come up with something? This is getting funny. Is the Kisin goof... Does anybody actually know of one? Does anybody actually know of one?
Have access to what?
You mean legislative?
Anything. Like literally
What,
anything.
in life?
Any aspect, whether it be government.
Look at him continuing. He's stalling, trying to come up with something to not look stupid. He's just been getting eviscerated this whole time.
Governmental, social, women have all the privilege.
All the privilege.
Oh, yeah.
See, and again, just repeating. Look at the goofery. The goofery on this Kisin's face.
Hey, when the Titanic goes down, who gets on the lifeboat?
Yeah, but that's a very narrow context. Well, who dies in childbirth, right? Like, I mean, come on.
What? Who dies in childbirth? Can you think of a more non-congruent argument? Who dies in childbirth? That's like saying, well, who gets stabbed in their sleep? I mean, more women kill men in their sleep than men kill women. So is that a privilege? And he's saying Andrew's talking about a narrow context of survival in any instant. Hurricanes, tornadoes, any natural disaster, any shooting at anything. It's not that narrow. Whereas how many women actually die in childbirth? I mean, this goof really wants to compare privilege across the board. Now, if he's talking third world countries, I mean, that's a little bigger. But even in third world countries, I mean, men are slaughtered without a second thought. Women and children are at least attempted to be defended. Whereas men's lives are seen as as worthless. I mean, let's get the exact numbers here to really illustrate this goof's retardation. Let's get the exact numbers here. I think this was, what was this? World Health Organization had some numbers. I don't see them here. Let's see. Oh, here we go. So 81% of worldwide homicide victims are male, 19% female. So it's not like a small difference. Whereas, let's see. So there's 223 women died. 223. So this is a 0.0. Well, that was in 2020. Now it's 18. So it's 0.0186% risk per birth, and and what percentage of that is by their consent, right? Like, none of these men consented to be homicide victims, or women, of this 19%. However, what percent of women of the, what was it? Of the 18, so it was 223, it was 18.6 deaths per 100,000. So there were 223 deaths in 2020. So that would be 186 deaths. So out of the 186 deaths in 2023, what percent of those consented to the risk of childbirth, right? They consented to that risk. How many of them wanted to get an abortion and didn't? Like 5 or whatever? I mean, abortion, you could go to another state and get the abortion if you want to murder your unborn child. So out of the 186 that died, he's talking about 186 deaths here. Was it with the consent to the risk? And this, I mean, this is one of the most enormous non-congruent arguments I've ever seen. Like, the level of retardation, like, he's possibly more retarded than Destiny here. He just doesn't have the verbal diarrhea spew. And let's see if he has another, other than that non-congruent argument example. Does he have any other? Because, I mean, that one is a massive. Let me get the, oh yeah, I forgot to put the receipt here on the deaths on live births. Let's get that receipt here for the goofs who think Kisin might have a point here. So this is from the CDC, for those that worship at that altar. So he's comparing 370,000 murdered males with 180 or 223 females. That's the level of non-congruent argument this Kisin retard is spamming here. 370,000 males were murdered. He's comparing that to 223. I mean, that's like Destiny level retardation. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. I'm going to leave that up there to illustrate his retardation.
We're different, and we
Almost no women die in childbirth anymore.
some still do.
Sure, but I mean,
Right.
some people die.
Cherry picking logical fallacy.
It's just
People
like,
die
I
in
mean, there's
car
probably more
accidents,
women
things
that
like
die
that.
in childbirth in America than people who die on the Titanic in the modern
Yeah,
world, right?
childbirth.
What? $1,500 people died on the Titanic. 223 women died in childbirth. I mean, wow. Holy crap. This guy's stupid. Probably. He doesn't even know when he's spamming? Holy crap. And not to mention the non-congruency of the argument. It's not just the Titanic. In every situation, every bombing, every shooting, every natural disaster, compare the amount of men that died versus the women and children that were preserved. Or women only, if we're just doing men. Like, this guy's mentally disabled. This guy just made, like, the dumbest. This guy's in the running for Dunning-Kruger championships. I didn't think he would be. He just elevated himself into Dunning-Kruger pantheon of greats. I mean, this level of retardation is extreme. This is crazy. Wow. That's a good point. Jeff says the elite was responsible for a big part of the 19%, and the elite doesn't count in this case. Yeah, that is a good point. It wasn't random men that killed this 19% of women. That's a good point. But we also don't know if they were responsible, what percentage of the 81% they were responsible for men either. Shiny Real Gun saying men have a 0% chance of death during childbirth. What does that have to do with anything? We're not comparing their chance during childbirth. We're comparing the privilege that women... Because this goof was saying that men have privileges that women don't have. What privilege is that? Not dying during child... That's not a privilege because you're talking about a couple hundred people. Or you're talking about, like, lightning strikes. Actually, I'm totally wrong. There's 24,000 fatalities due to lightning. Wow, I didn't even know that. Holy crap. It kills 20 people in the US, 24,000 in the world. Yeah, that's crazy. And also, you don't know if they're... what are they dying in childbirth from? Are these like drug addicts that are dying in childbirth that did it to themselves? Like what is the comparison here? Like, we don't have those numbers. Not to mention they consented to the risk of childbirth. Jeff says he must live at home with his moms. Still Bruce ain't no way. Wait, who? Shiny Real Guns or Kisin or both? Flat Bob says, but he doesn't feel retarded. So that's all that actually matters. Well, Craig describes the burn of his stupidity, like he describes it as a burn, like the stupid it burns. That's how Craig described it. So are you saying Kisin doesn't feel the burn, or perhaps he's taken some kind of painkillers not to feel the pain of the retardation? I mean, this guy doesn't even know how many people died on the Titanic.
Avoidable. You just don't have sex, right?
Like, look how stupid this guy is. He doesn't understand what consent means. He doesn't understand what acceptability of risk is.
No, but what I'm saying is there are outcomes that are better for men in life and for women, and that's
not privilege, though. He said before he was talking about privilege, not outcomes. The outcomes are different for every 2 men and every 2 women. The outcome is not gender specific. You have successful women, you have unsuccessful women, you have successful men, unsuccessful men, you have victims of various crimes, both male and female, nothing to do with their gender. They were just a victim. Oh man, this guy's stupid. Right now, my expression is basically the same as Andrew Wilson's right here. How do you deal with this level of stupid? I mean, this guy's just mentally gone. I mean, this, I don't know. Has anybody seen a dumber debate? This is tough. I don't think Craig is this stupid. Is Craig this stupid? For some reason, I don't know. I don't think Craig's this stupid. Call me crazy. I don't think Craig of Fight the Flat Earth is as stupid as Konstantin Kisin. And Craig is stupid. I have to do a logical analysis of his evisceration by... Who's seen the feminism debate between Craig and Andrew Wilson's wife? I forgot her first name. Andrew Wilson's wife, I actually think she might be a better debater than Andrew Wilson. I counted less fallacies. I watched some of the debate when she was destroying Craig McNeil of Fight the Flat Earth. His wife is actually, I think I might rank his wife higher than him in debate. What's her name? What is her name? Rachel Wilson. His wife's name is Rachel Wilson, who perhaps, she was on Joe Rogan too. Rachel Wilson is perhaps one of the most well-read on feminism and the history of feminism. And I need to watch, I don't know if she's debated that many times, so it's not really apples to apples, but in her evisceration of Craig, I don't know if I counted a single fallacy on Rachel Wilson, whereas with Andrew Wilson, he always racks up at least a couple. I think, so I would put Austin Whitsitt up there, and then I'm not sure. There's probably a couple people there. Then I think I'd have Rachel Wilson and then Andrew Wilson in my ranking. Yeah, Rachel Wilson is a powerhouse debater. But this Kisin goof, I mean, this is just pure retardation. Has anyone seen retardation this pure? I mean, look at this goof's face. Completely outclassed, outmatched, possibly too retarded to realize it. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. Andrew Wilson is so done with this guy. Can you blame him? Can you imagine having to spend more than a minute with a guy this stupid?
A fundamental difference between men and women.
Yeah, I understand, but I'm talking about privilege. What are any, can you give me any privilege at all that men have that women don't? Whereas I can give you tons of privileges that women have that men don't.
Exactly. Nobody's forcing women into childbirth. If that were the case, we wouldn't be below population replacement levels.
That's what I'm asking.
Privilege. Well, I mean...
Look at this goof, completely exposed and eviscerated for his retardation, and he's just scrambling here. And this is Andrew Wilson at like 1%. Andrew Wilson's not even trying. I mean, this is like full contact kickboxing a toddler. Kisin is just completely humiliated. Even he can't help but smile and laugh at his own obliteration, at his own logical obliteration. Wow. I was not expecting this level of stupidity, because this guy, he has a certain reputation on the interwebs as being, relatively intelligent. Flat Bob says, Bruce, I've met in person so many stupid people in my life that literally nothing surprises me. No, true. But most of these people are like random Walmart wanderers. This guy has a platform. Flat Bob says, I see, so the female is less fallacious, that's feminism. No, that's just meritocracy. Because sometimes, it's individual based, of course. Dragon Tracer says, if we take wrestling and roller jam as an example, I'm 100% feminist. Flat Bob says, I'm with you, Dragon Tracer. I'm with you guys, too. Equality for the win.
The privilege concept outside the legislative framework is a difficult one.
Even inside of it. I'm asking for both, either.
Let's see if we can find one inside. This goof is setting himself up for destruction. I've never seen anything like this. This is crazy.
In fact.
So he just said outside of legislative, it's hard or whatever. And now, as if he could explain it inside the legislative framework, which he can't. Look at this goof getting wrecked.
I don't have the data on.
Bueller. So he doesn't have the data, but he spoke about it as if it was true without having to. So does that make him more or less retarded with this cope? I mean, I have to say, I think, has anyone seen this level of complete destruction before? Because, okay, hold on a second. Usually when you get guys like Destiny or Craig, they'll scramble. They'll spam fallacies. This goof's got nothing. This goof's not even able to scramble. The level of just absolute complete destruction Andrew Wilson has unleashed on this fool. I'm not sure I've ever seen anything like this. Who has seen something like this? Let's do a poll. It's time for a poll. Like, the goof can't even mount basic denial. Like, he's got nothing. Bueller's from the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it immediately. That's non-negotiable, my friend. Non-negotiable. Flapop says Caleb versus Caleb was pretty impressive. You mean Craig? The amount of work done mathematically, what do you want it to be overtime? Yes, but here's the point. And by the way, I will be finishing that one. There's just been crazy glitches on it. And in about another week and a half or so, I'm going to have a lot more free time. So I'll be able to tweak the system and get that finished so we can have all the metrics. Because right now, Michael Sartain is still the reigning, defending Dunning-Kruger champion. But I'm not talking about the number of fallacies. I'm talking about just the scale of intellectual destruction to the point where this Kisin goof, he's so mentally eviscerated, he can't even deny or do anything. He's got no he can't even muster the energy to spam fallacies in his own defense. Because if you remember, I mean, Craig could still have, he still had plenty of energy to spam fallacies like Sartain, even Destiny. This goof is so monumentally eradicated intellectually, he can't even mount any kind of defense. I've never seen anything quite like this. So it looks like it's an even split between yes or no. Well, too triggered to answer has 67%. That's the number one. And an even split. Let's leave it up for another minute to see if it's not an even split. Come on, we got way more people in here than are voting. Flapop says, Bruce, your polls are hard to read. I mean, it's just a standard poll. I don't know if you can make your screen bigger on it or whatever. YouTube does not allow you to, like, magnify it. It's just the standard size. Flapop says, I say no publicly. Wait, who's got more eviscerated than this guy? I'm not talking about amount of fallacies here. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about cope spirals. I'm just talking about basic logical destruction. Because this guy can't mount anything. Uh-oh, where'd the poll go? I just clicked the poll and it disappeared. Is the poll still up for everybody? Oops. Did the poll get removed? Yeah, I was trying to see if I could change it. It looked like it got removed. So it was an even split between yes or no. Flapop says, Craig, dude is an expletive idiot. Caleb wrecked him. He did, but I'm just saying Craig was still mustering energy to spam and fallacies and cope spiral. Kisin is so destroyed here. He has nothing. Look at his face. Look at the goof's face. He can't even come up with responses. I've never seen anything quite like this. Dragon Tracer says, I'm going to watch it today. Wanted to watch Marked for Death today, but that can wait a day. No, Marked for Death is definitely number one. No, you have to watch Marked for Death before Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I mean, both are non-negotiable. But watch Marked for Death first, especially because we talked about it first. So you got to go in order of what we talked about. And on the next live, we'll discuss them. Does it show up white on white background, the polls, for anybody else? That's not the way it shows up for me. Flapbob says, yeah, but Craig's mental prowess is nothing compared to his physical prowess, and that expletive is hilarious. Yeah. Oh, man. He's just the gift that keeps on giving. But we have a new Dunning-Kruger contender here in Konstantin Kisin.
And all this stuff, but I would assume there are contexts.
I would assume. Based on what? Based on your own ignorance? Like, what is it? Nothing but assumptions? This guy's supposed to be some kind of smart guy? Nothing but assumptions based on his feelings?
In which men are more likely to be employed for a certain thing because...
You mean less likely? Because of affirmative action and DEI, they're actually less likely to be employed.
They're more likely to be perceived as authoritative, as leaders, things...
Well, how is that legislative? If they are more likely to be perceived as... So, how is that legislative?
Like that.
Even though there are more women... Because of box checking and DEI, they want more women in higher positions.
Although that
regardless of competency. I mean, this guy's really struggling with basic questions. I mean, look at this goof. This goof's got nothing for Andrew. This might be Andrew Wilson's most extreme scalp. Because I've seen Andrew Wilson destroy a lot of fools. I mean, he destroys Destiny routinely. He destroys everybody. I'm not sure I've ever seen a destruction on this scale. Flapbob says, contender I'll give you, but I think he's just another fish in the pond. Yeah, I don't think he can be the champ just because his verbal diarrhea game is nowhere near Destiny's or Craig's. Like, he's just not hitting enough fallacies, but the mental disability is so extreme, he can't even muster fallacies. I mean, think about that for a second. Dunning-Kruger champs, based on our metric system, is most amount of fallacies, super fallacies, fallacy combos, etc., fallacies per minute. This guy's so stupid. He can't even come up with fallacies. I mean, he did, but now that he's so thoroughly destroyed here, he can't even really come up with look, he's struggling even to come up with any kind of response, even a fallacious response. Flapbob says he's just an idiot, bro. I can't argue with you there. I'm just saying the level of this decimation is so extreme. Flapbob says maybe my YouTube doesn't want me voting in logical polls. Yeah, are you on the dark on the night, what is it called? Night mode? Like appearance. Are you in like night mode with a black background or a white background? Because that might matter too. Jeff says, a Dragon Tracer says he is autistic. AFAIK, as far as I know. Is that what that stands for? I haven't seen that in a while. Jeff says, Dragon Tracer, most autistic people are actually pretty smart. Don't insult them with this comparison. Yeah, that is insulting. Most autistic people are pretty smart. I mean, this guy's retarded. I mean, this guy is one of the stupidest human beings I've ever seen, and I've been doing these logical analyses for years. I mean, I've just never seen anything like this. And I've seen a couple of clips of his other interviews. He was nowhere near this dumb. Flapbob says, white background. Yeah, switch it to either night mode or dark mode or whatever. See if that helps. But let's continue. I feel bad for Andrew Wilson here. I feel bad.
Has changed with the kind of woke agenda of the last 10 years.
And it works both ways. Like, for instance, preschool teachers.
He's blaming the woke agenda? Yeah, sure, but that has nothing to do with the point. He couldn't come up with a single point other than his fallacious point about men being more likely to be employed in certain positions. The opposite is true. The opposite is true.
Yeah.
I would assume that people would vastly prefer.
And especially for the positions he's thinking of. Like, especially if there's, like, openings in, like, sanitation or whatever, they want women in those positions so they could virtue signal. Just with all, like, it's weird. I mean, look at this guy. It's almost like, I don't know if he's a humiliation fetishist. He looks almost ashamed and dejected that he's this stupid. It's almost like there is a little bit of realization of how stupid he is. And how unprepared he was here. It's almost like he feels shame for this. Look at that. Look at the shame in the goof's eyes. I don't know if he's a humiliation. He's obviously retarded, but I don't know if he's a humiliation fetishist. See, Craig would be there would be sheer glee in that goof's eyes. He would be gleeful at getting humiliated this badly. This guy just looks ashamed at this point. Absolutely ashamed. Dragon Tracer says, I saw a video with them and Theo Von, which was actually quite funny. This level of goofery was unexpected. Yeah, I've seen a few clips here and there. I mean, I've seen clips of him holding people's feet to the fire with certain concepts. But this is just complete mental disability here.
That their kid go to a woman, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. That has changed with the kind of woke agenda of the last 10 years.
And it works both ways. Like, for instance, preschool teachers.
Yeah.
I would assume that people would vastly prefer that their kid go to a woman, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Again, proving the points against him. This isn't really this is actually interesting. Is this the first time we're seeing an intellectually honest retard in a debate? Because most of the time they just start cope spiraling with fallacies and projection and ad hom attacks. It's almost like he's answering the questions honestly, not realizing like he's too stupid to realize his answers prove the points against himself. Are we seeing for the first time an intellectually honest Dunning-Kruger contender? And that's why this looks that much worse. Because he's so stupid, but he's honest about the stupidity.
So it seems like that privilege is striped across the board. So, like, why is it that women get all of the equality, right, but also get all the privilege? That doesn't seem right to me. That seems like it's backwards. So, like, I'm still waiting to hear from anybody ever. What are these privileges men have over women versus what women have over men? So if you can go
look at these two goofs sitting there, they got nothing. They're bringing wet sponges to a tank fight.
Oh, and you can be drafted, you can be sent off to war, right? And women can't, but they can vote to send you off to war. How is that not something which fundamentally needs to be addressed immediately? That seems to me like it's completely lopsided, and it's giving one class of people a significant privilege over another.
So if we allowed women to be drafted, you'd be happy with them having the vote?
Well, see, now we come into pragmatic problems.
So, and notice how it's a complete shifting of the goalpost, shifting the burden of proof fallacy, because he can't support any of his own positions. He's trying to push it all on Andrew, and again, through a narcissistic lens. Not just what is the truth. What would you subjectively be happy with?
Though, the reason that you said earlier, I'm against women being drafted, is because they can't really serve in combat roles. Only in support roles, which draftees of men would have to serve in combat roles. The reason women don't do well in combat roles is because, well, driving tanks is hard work. It takes muscles, and you gotta run the shells, and you have to carry hundreds of pounds of equipment with you, and you have to do all of this type of thing. And generally speaking, women aren't equipped for it, which is why we've never had a female Navy SEAL to date, even though they've been trying for like 25 years. We still haven't had a single one. They can't do the job. Now, what people always do is point to outliers, right? Well, some women can do it. That's true. Some can,
Yeah.
but in general, they can't.
I guess, but when you vote for a government, you don't vote whether to go for war or not. It's the government that makes the decision. There's plenty of people who voted for Donald Trump and are absolutely disgusted that he's started a war with Iran.
I thought government was force. We all agreed on that, right? Government's force. Like, ultimately, that's what it reduces to. So
Wait, let's play that again.
what people always do is point to combat role. Run 25 years. We still haven't had a single one. They can't do the job. Now, what people always do is point to outliers, right? Well, some women can do it. That's true.
Cherry-picking logical fallacy and diversion fallacy, using that cherry-picking fallacy.
Some can,
Yeah.
but in general, they can't.
I guess, but when you
Look at these goofs struggling. These goofs are so stupid. How do they have a platform? I just don't understand this. It kind of reminds me of Soy Lodge a little bit. But most of the time, Soy Lodge, they're not talking about serious topics. They're kind of just spamming fallacies in relation to, like, paranormal, true crime cases, or whatever. I mean, occasionally they'll co-spiral with Flat Earth that we went over. How do these goofs have some kind of respected high-level platform with these big guests? I mean, it's just weird. Like, they struggle just to form basic ideas. Flat Bob says this guy's partner is also an idiot. You called it. See, sometimes you can judge a book by its cover, right? Sometimes you can. The soy is also strong with the... Oh, man. This is crazy. I wasn't expecting this level of mental disability from these guys.
vote for a government, you don't vote whether to go for war or not. It's the government that makes the decision. There's plenty of people who voted for Donald Trump and are absolutely disgusted that he's started a war with Iran.
So this is a non-congruent argument logical fallacy, because now he's going into the basic issues with statism, which is actually going to be curious. I do want to see how Andrew addresses, but it has nothing to do with men versus women voting, because part of voting for whichever president, you consent. Who said voters are not victims, they're accomplices. So just by voting, you consent that if you're outvoted, the other person is going to rule you. So you consent to that anyway, and you also consent to the possibility that the person you voted for is going to go back on their word, unless you're completely retarded and don't know what a politician is. If you actually expect a politician to honor their word, I mean, that's a special kind of stupid. That's right up Konstantin Kisin's, that's right up their alley. You got to be like a Kisin for that. But either way, it doesn't change the fact that whatever policies are a result of, the women are still not on the line to go get blown up in the front line. So that has nothing to do with Andrew's point here.
I thought government was force. We all agreed on that, right? Government's force. Like, ultimately, that's what it reduces to. So you say you're voting for force, and you're voting for force use. Why does the United States have a massive military? Well, because we're going to use it. That's why we're going to use it. Why do we have a draft? Well, because...
Look at the disability on these
We're
goofs'
gonna use
faces, though.
Too. So you say you're voting for force.
I mean, look at just the level of disbelief. It's like they're hearing logic for the first time in their lives. I mean, look at, like, it's like they've never heard, like, what is this logic you speak of? This is the first time they're hearing logic. Look at their face. It's like they're so shocked to hear basic logic for the first times in their lives. Dragon Tracer says, may the soy be with you. Flat Bob says, most people are completely retarded and expect to receive all they hear from the politicians because they have itching ears.
And you're voting for force use. Why does the United States have a massive military? Well, because we're going to use it. That's why we're going to use it. Why do we have a draft? Well, because we're going to use that too, and have used it. And so the thing is that a lot of what we're voting on is force. We're trying to protect our nation from all foreign threats, right? That's why we have this massive military. That's why we have a draft. That's why we have the potential for mass combat. That's why we entered in World War II, right? It's why we entered, and there was a draft then. And we're going to institute a draft at some point again, likely. It's more likely than not. At some point, we're going to do it. So the thing is like, why do women get exempt from that? And if it's the case that you don't want them exempt from that, why is it that they don't go right to the front lines then and battle it out, like draftees have at least the potential to? Well, that's a fundamental privilege that is not being addressed, right? And yet women have the vote. Doesn't seem like they care too much about men's rights, even though we're supposed to care about theirs. Seems like they...
And just look at the blank looks from these goofs. Well, the goof on the right just looks totally brain dead, right? Look at this. It's like he can't comprehend anything Andrew Wilson is saying. And then Kisin also is just... Kisin actually seems less stupid than the guy on the right. Kisin is completely retarded, but I think he's smart enough to possibly understand how stupid he is. Maybe a little bit, just a tiny bit. That's why he was laughing at himself before. The goof on the right, he might not be intelligent enough to understand how stupid he is, so he might not even laugh at himself. I mean, just look at this expression here. Look at the stupor. That, like, it's just that Dunning-Kruger fluoride stare. He's getting that fluoride stare back from these goofs. It's like they've never heard logic in their lives. Jeff says he looks like he sees water burning. Flap Up says they're mind shocked. I've never seen anything like this before. Oh man. This is crazy. Wow. Just the level of stupidity here. It's so stratospheric.
They have a lot of privilege in society.
Isn't that fair, Andrew? I think a lot of women care about men's rights, actually.
A lot? Based on what? I mean, maybe, but based on what?
So look, there's a vocal minority which
He's just stuttering. I think a lot. There's
say that they don't and they hate men, and look, we know those type of women. But let's be honest, a lot of women care about men's rights. They do.
And people who say, let's be honest, does that infer they're not usually being honest? So they have to preface that with, let's be honest?
Give me like 3 of the most prominent ones you can think of.
Who care about men's rights? Well... Oh, I'm trying to think now.
Oh man, this is the greatest obliteration I've ever seen. The way Wilson just set these goofs up. Oh man, when being asked to support their position. I mean, fair play here though. They might be intellectually honest. Because goofs like Destiny or Craig, they would just start spamming red herring divergent fallacies right off the bat. They would be gish galloping, going all over the place. It looks like these goofs, like the mental struggle. I mean, look how she's struggling mentally just to answer a basic question. Oh man, I haven't seen something this funny in a long time. Ooh. Oh man. Dragon Tracer says play it again. Alright, let's play it again. I mean, Andrew Wilson's just doing this for sport at this point.
A lot of women care about men's rights. They do.
Give me like 3 of the most prominent ones you can think of.
Who care about men's rights? Well, I'm trying to think now.
I mean, we've had feminists on this.
And look at the Kisin trying to rescue. Oh man. Oh, this kind of mental decimation should be illegal. I mean, this is so horrible. Oh, man.
Show who are feminists, like Louise Perry, for example. They're a different type of feminists to the idiots that you'd be spending your time arguing with, but the people who have a very sensible view of these things.
Yeah.
Lots of people like that. By the way, coming
Lots of people, they couldn't name one. I mean, look at this group. He's still trying to figure one out. He's still trying. He's still trying to think of somebody. Oh, man. Oh, poor guy. How do you not feel bad for him? Look at him. I have to say, whether this guy's retarded or not, how do you not admire the intellectual honesty? How do you not admire it? Like, he's struggling so hard, but he's trying. He's really trying. A for effort here. Jeff says they seem legit in good faith. Only the lights are on, but nobody's home. I don't know. This guy seems good faith. Kisin has said some really shady things, like the narcissistic projections. I don't know. I don't know about Kisin, but this guy does seem good faith. Like, he's not even trying to spin out of it or talk his way out of it. Like, he's genuinely just sitting there and trying to think. And notice how Kisin jumped in to save him. That's not intellectual honesty. He's so narcissistic and concerned with how this looks. So yeah, I would say his friend here might be intellectually honest, but Kisin, I don't think he is. Now, I don't think he's intellectually dishonest to the level of people like Craig and all these other people, but he's definitely not 100% honest. His friend, possibly. Flat Bob says, there's plenty of people that I can't think of that agree with my position. I just can't name them. No, but look how hard he's trying to think of somebody. Look how hard he's trying. I mean, that's an A+ for effort right there. Flat Bob says, I'm trying to think now as if he wasn't doing that the whole time during a debate. No, but this guy, you have to admire this guy. You have to give him an A+ for effort. Also, Kisin, a lot of the tone and subtext from Kisin is narcissistic. So, I don't think Kisin is 100% good faith. He's just not as bad faith as others.
back, not to change subject, but coming back to your point, I mean, one of the things that doesn't make a lot of sense to me is, for example, yes.
His friend, this guy looks like he's still trying to think. He's still thinking. Look at this guy. He's still thinking. Who knows? Maybe in 20 minutes he'll think of something. But look at how hard he's trying. Look at how hard he's trying. Oh. Oh, man. I feel bad for these guys. I mean, shame on Andrew Wilson for just destroying these fools to this level. I mean, he's really not I mean, maybe he is holding back, actually. But, I mean, these toddlers are getting their skulls bounced off the canvas in this full contact and kickboxing match with an adult.
Yes, it's true. Men serve in combat roles and women don't. But women bear children and men don't. And there's a...
It looks like he's still trying. It looks like he's still trying. Maybe he needs to hydrate. Maybe he needs some coffee to think of something. He's going to try anything. Look how sad he looks. That he wasn't able to. Like, how do you not feel bad for this poor guy? How do you not feel bad for him? Yeah, reach for that drink. Maybe that's maybe that caffeine or the liquid will get him to the point where he can remember something.
Huge disadvantage in all sorts of societal outcomes from a materialistic career perspective to spending the time to bear the child and then to nurture that.
Materialistic career perspective? What is this goof talking about? Women actually out-earn men. Is this guy... Man, I really don't want to... I guess, I mean, we got to be comprehensive. Oh, man, this is tough. This is tough. This guy's so stupid, but he just keeps spewing as if what he's saying is true. It's like he didn't even learn his lesson. But now his friend, look, his friend's just got his, it looks like he capitulated It looks like he realized he can't think of anything and he gave up. Look at his friend now, his posture. Look at that capitulation. Now he's like a small child, folded his hands. He's just going to be a good little boy now and listen now that he got put in his place. How do you not feel bad for this poor guy? Oh, man. So not only is it undeserved, because there's all of this, all of the data coming out that teachers give girls higher grades than boys for the same work. And so, yeah, just another privilege of females in society. Not to mention, like, they have all these extra scholarships, sports, other academic, just everything across the board. Just the privilege is off the charts here. Results show that when comparing students who have identical subject-specific competence, teachers are more likely to give higher grades to girls. Furthermore, they demonstrate for the first time that this grading premium favoring girls is systemic. It is systemic. So when people talk about systemic oppression or whatever, subjugation, this is what they're actually talking about, and not just outlier situations. When do I ever not bring the receipts? And then here's another one, British Journal of Sociology of Education. It might actually be even more skewed in the US. I saw some really weird stuff in quackademia back when I was involved in quackademia at various levels. But yeah, this guy's still trying to cope spiral something. He's trying to come up with something, anything, and he just can't do it. He just makes himself end up looking worse. It's crazy. And so here is the degrees. Females are drastically getting more degrees and higher paying jobs. Let me get that stat in a second. Now, obviously, you have to go apples to apples, because with a lot of brain dead goofs like Kisin, like the wage gap myth is predicated upon not comparing apples to apples. So it's comparing full-time to part-time. For example, part-time males earn less money than full-time males. Pew Research Center, young women are out-earning young men in several U.S. cities. Now, obviously, older men who've been involved in their trade and are good at it are going to out-earn women who chose, through their own choice, to go into some kind of human resources jobs that don't scale later in life. But we're comparing apples to apples. Young men versus young women. Young women are actually getting paid more and are getting more degrees. So, I mean, the goofery of Kisin, I mean, it's just crazy. And in certain areas, they're earning a lot more. So, yeah, obviously there's a lot of variables, you know. Why are you comparing, like, women and men? Like, you're comparing women, a full-time woman working in some small town in middle America is not going to make more money than a full-time man working in New York City. But a full-time young woman working in New York City against a full-time young man, not only are they going to out-earn the men, they're going to get the job over the men, and the men are going to be unemployed. So the goofery here from Kisin is crazy. I mean, this guy's just a complete retard.
Child, right? So
What? Like what?
Well,
that's backwards.
No, hold on.
Yeah.
The gender pay gap
I mean, this guy's stuttering all over the place.
discussion, which is kind of stupid in a lot of areas, is actually a reflection of the fact that there is a motherhood gap in lifetime earnings, which is if you're a woman.
That actually has nothing to do with apples to apples. Like, yes, that's a wrinkle in the data, but why would you compare just in general women who are not pregnant, not going on maternity leave, working part-time compared to full-time men? It's just weird.
Who bears children and
Take
looks
more
after them.
time off and then.
And then also, what job are you choosing to go into? You know, a man choosing to go into a lower paying profession than another man is going to earn less money than the other man. It's not because he's a man. It's just a fundamental failure in understanding basic statistics. I mean, this is tough. Are we even going to get through this? This is only 20 minutes, and this is painful, but hilarious.
You take time off, then over the course of your life,
Less overtime.
Yeah, you will earn less. So that would be one disadvantage that I could give you, where women contribute.
And again, you could also compare that to, like, for example, certain men who get a chronic illness and have to take off a lot more time off of work. They're going to earn less than other men who don't have chronic illness. It's not because they're a man, but the level of mental disability with goofs like Kisin, they can't grasp that.
A different thing. So you might say, well, men get drafted, women carry
It's
children.
not a disadvantage.
And women don't have to carry children. Men have to get drafted. And that's why this goof is so brain dead. He doesn't even understand the basics of non-congruent arguments. He's not comparing apples to apples, but he's so stupid. He might actually be good faith enough to think that he is comparing apples to apples. That's how stupid this guy is. He might actually think he's comparing apples to apples.
What do you mean?
Oh no! Oh, they have to stay at home. Oh, I don't raise their kids. Oh,
I mean, look at it's like the retardation just hit him on how stupid that even was. Oh no, you earn a little less on by the way, maternity leave nowadays, I mean, you know, decades and decades ago, maybe it wasn't paid. Now it's paid, so. But even if it was unpaid, wouldn't you rather be sitting at home unpaid than getting blown up? I mean, is this guy so retarded? He doesn't understand the difference between getting blown up and sitting at home with less money. Not to mention you can get government, you know, depending on the pay, you can get government assistance and etc. You're not going to starve to death. There's shelters, there's options, you know, there's charity programs. You're not going to starve. In a war, you might get blown up and also starve if the supplies can't get to you. But this goof is so brain dead. Like, he just... Oh, Flat Bob says the poll is still up. I don't see the poll. Where is the poll? Is the poll still up forever? I don't see it at all. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see it on my side. Oh, okay, I see. It's grayed out, so I can't start a new one, but I don't see where the previous one is. That is weird. I have no idea. It's not here. I clicked it before because I was trying to see if oh, now it's up. Okay. Oh, so actually it got updated. This is the greatest debate destruction ever. 21% yes, 14% no, 64% too triggered to answer. Alright, now I ended the poll. So it is yes. Well, if it wasn't yes before, it's definitely yes now. I mean, this is even worse than it was when I put up the poll. This is crazy, though. This level of stupidity, I've just never seen anything like this before.
What? Where's the disadvantage again? The man's in the
Oh no, the men
man's-
get drafted. Where's the disadvantage?
What? Oh no, you get blown up? He thinks getting blown up is not and shot to death is not a disadvantage? Wow. And mockingly parroting Andrew Wilson. Oh, whoa, we have a new Dunning-Kruger contender officially. Officially. See, this is why this is going bad faith now.
They die.
Okay.
They get shot in the face.
Yeah, and women earn less money over the course of their lives and have to carry a
They
thing
they
that
earn
is a
more.
risk to their
They
life
have-
potentially.
What they have instead is they now don't have to pay for daycare, and they can depend on somebody else's income, which is taking care of them.
Wait, this guy literally compared to making, let's say it's true that they made slightly less money. He compared that to getting blown up and dying and not being able to live, not seeing your children, not being able to have a life. Wow, this is Stupid of the Year award. That was as stupid as this guy is. He just went full I mean, he was already full retard. That's the stupid is okay. Has Craig said anything that dumb? Saying what do you want? I don't think saying what do you want energy to be. I don't think that's dumber than saying, oh, you're gonna make slightly less money instead of dying. This might be the stupidest thing I've ever heard anywhere. Oh no, you make slightly less money. That's not even true, but let's say it was true. I mean, for some women it's true, for other women it's not true. But even if it were true for all women, how is that you like what man wouldn't be like, okay, I'll just take a slight percentage pay cut to not get blown up. Now I can actually live. Like what that's this dumbest thing, and that I think he's bad faith here. There's no I mean, is he really that stupid? Is he just triggered because he realized Andrew Wilson made such a fool out of him that he just did that like a 4-year-old out of spite? Like, look at the mockingness. Like, I have to do a clip with this to highlight the stupidity.
Raise their kids. What? Where's the disadvantage again? The man's in
Oh no, the men
man's-
get drafted. Where's
Oh, I don't raise.
drafted? Where's the drafted? Where's the disadvantage?
Where's the disadvantage in getting drafted and blowing up and dying? Like, what? What? Flat Bob says, if Craig and Sartain had a baby, this is what you get. Oh, man. That is so true. Oh, man. Oh, man. Sartain and Craig's illegitimate love child. Okay, can anybody think of... I think this is stupider than asking what do you want energy to be. We should ask Craig, does Craig think it's worse to get blown up and die or get paid slightly less money? Who thinks Craig is going to say making slightly... I mean, I don't know. It's Craig, so who knows? Actually, I don't know what Sartain would say to that either. Should we have this as a new question? The Kisin question? Should we just call this the Kisin question to get a metric on Dunning-Kruger? No, but how does he not even I want to see his friend's face. It's a shame they didn't have his... Because even his retarded friend, I think, would have a problem with this level of stupid.
They die.
Okay.
Okay, who cares? They die. Like, what is wrong with this guy? Is this stupid? Like, look at Andrew's face. He can't... I think Andrew's having some disbelief here at the level of stupidity. And Andrew's been involved with a lot of idiots in these debates. I mean, has anybody seen this level of stupid? It's like he's trying to turn the wheels in his head, but they're just not turning. Or he's that much of a narcissist, he just realized he got made to look a fool, and now he's switching to sputtering mode and damage control mode. I wish we saw the expression of his friend right now, because I'm curious as to what it would be. Is his retarded friend embarrassed?
Get shot in the face.
Yeah, and women earn less money over...
How did he say that with a straight face? First of all, it's not true, but even if it was true, how did he just say that with a straight face, though? It's like getting murdered, getting blown up and murdered is the same thing as earning slightly less money if that's true, whatever, it's true for a certain percentage of women, it's true. For a big percentage of women, it's not true.
The course of their lives and have to carry a thing
they
that
earn
is a
more.
risk to their
They
life.
have-
They have to carry a baby? They're being forced to? There's a risk to their life? A couple hundred die? What's the risk to life in war versus child? I mean, this guy's straight stupid. This is the face of retardation now. Here's a real question. How would Destiny answer that? Destiny probably wouldn't even straight answer that. He would just go straight to Gish Gallop. Diversion fallacies. Dragon Tracer says statist war propaganda made him spew this nonsense. No, even we're not giving him that excuse. Statist war propaganda is on everybody. I don't know anybody who's gonna say getting blown up is equal to making slightly less money, if that's even true, or having the option of deciding to have a baby. What kind of an idiot? I mean, I don't even think the most radical leftist feminists would say that's the same thing. I've never seen stupid on this level before, because even on the Whatever podcast, I've seen clips of that with Andrew Wilson arguing with people. Even the dumbest social media influencer girls, they don't make that argument. They'll ignore, obfuscate, and divert. They won't flat out say that that's the same thing. I've never seen that. Maybe they do. Maybe some of them did. But I've seen some real retards. They don't even say that. I mean, this guy's in a class of his own now.
Potentially.
What they have instead is they now don't have to pay for daycare, and they can depend on somebody else's income, which is taking care of them. Oh, that's terrible. Oh my God. You get to stay at home and you don't have to do anything except raise your kid. Wow. And by the way, they're putting their kids on a bus almost every morning to go to a public school. They don't even have them for 8 hours out of the day most of the time.
I mean, just look at this goof's face. He has zero arguments, only assumptions, no mental processing. I mean, this really is the love child of Craig and Sartain. I mean, there's just no mental function here. There's just nothing here. Jeff says, Destiny would say, who are you to decide which one is worse? That's so true. He would say something that stupid. But even that's smarter. But isn't that smarter than saying, oh no, making slightly less money? Because Destiny's obfuscation is more intelligent than outright equation, which is what this goof just did. Jeff knows Destiny well. That does sound exactly what he would say. Oh man, that goof's in a class of his own as well. But we now have to have the Kisin question. The Kisin question. Because I really don't think anyone else is this stupid. I don't think so. How can it's and this guy has a platform. It's crazy. Hold on, let's see how many followers this guy has. $1.8 million. 1.8 million. And by the way, he labeled this entire conversation an honest conversation with a Christian nationalist. He labeled this an honest conversation. So if it is honest, if he is intellectually honest, I'm not buying it. This guy's a narcissist goof. Man, that makes him look even worse if this is his honest.
So like, how is this the most incredibly difficult job ever, or
I mean, maybe it is. It looks like he's thinking about some of these things for the first time ever, but his single-digit IQ, like, he can't get into the gear required to actually process the information. Like, he just can't get into the gear required to process basic preschool level point. I mean, look at his face. Just the mental capacity's just not there. Flat Bob says, so there's 1.8 million people stupider than him. There you go. I'm not buying it. How many of those 1.8 million are bots? How many of the 1.8 million are watching just to laugh at his stupidity? I mean, look at Craig's followers. I hypothesize most of Craig's followers are just really evil people egging this poor mentally disabled humiliation fetishist on, pretending he's actually winning debates, so he keeps going so they can laugh at him. Maybe that's what they're doing to Kisin here.
Way requires them to have they're the ones who are privileged. You know, there's an old comedian who made this joke, and I agree with it. Any job you can do in your pajamas can't be that hard.
Bill Burr, favorite comedian of ours, but
Okay, it can't be that hard.
He was joking though, knowing Bill, and
How does he... Wait, first of all, how does he know he was joking? Is this the same way he knows the Titanic stats? And he knows about all the legislation that favors men? Is that the same way he knows Bill Burr was joking?
now that he's married with kids, I think his perspective's changed somewhat.
Well, what does that have to do with it being true, what he said in the past being true or not? Wait, how does this goof think that's fun? Oh, man. This guy really is simple. Like, why would that be funny? Like, your perspective changes when you're older, but what you said when you're younger is either true or not true. It has nothing to do with whether your perspective changed when you were older. But this goof found that funny. I mean, this guy really is a simpleton, huh? Did he think of a name yet? Is he still trying to think of a name, or did he just fully give up? I mean, he's had another 10 minutes here. Still can't think of one.
But I guess, you know...
Also, let's not forget Bill Burr sold out. Ever since his appearance in The Mandalorian, Star Wars, all of a sudden, he kind of turned into a goof. So obviously, brain-dead goofs like Kisin, they can't consider the possibility that he became compromised and started towing propaganda. Just the mental capacity's not there from Kisin.
Married with kids.
Right, you watched your wife carry the baby or babies inside her for 9 months. Like, that's a big deal.
Sure.
What does that have to do with getting blown up?
So I guess that to me would be one example versus the hypothetical risk of once every 50 years you get drafted.
In a two-income household, it's a privilege.
Well, and it's not hypothetical that you become pregnant and hypothetically die in childbirth, even though the chance is less than 1% per 100,000. That's not So does he not know what the word hypothetical means? I mean, is this really intellectual on it? Is this guy really this stupid? He doesn't know what the word hypothetical means? It's not hypothetical that someone becomes pregnant. It's guaranteed every single woman will become pregnant and carry a child, even though the majority will not. The majority of the new generation. What is it? We're below replacement level, right? Wow. Jeff says, lately I sometimes turn on the news and have a laugh. Same principle. Yeah. Oh, man. The level of mental disability. This guy doesn't know what hypothetical means. He thinks all women are forced to carry.
That women get to stay at home. It's a privilege.
But we're not talking about staying at home. We're talking about...
Well, he was a second ago, right? He was talking about maternity leave causing less money. That's exactly what was being talked about. See, now this is intellectual dishonest. Is it this? I mean, I don't know. Is he that retarded? He can't even remember what he said a second ago. I mean, this is the real question. Okay, chat, help me out here. Is this intellectual dishonesty and this guy just doesn't like being humiliated and his ego's got string pulling him? Or is he legitimately this mentally deficient he can't remember what he said 2 seconds ago? About women earning less than men because of maternity leave, which, by the way, not all women will have children and go on maternity leave.
Carrying the child.
Yeah, but carrying the child has to be raised.
And most women in America then go back to work.
Yeah.
At a disadvantage, as we just
Well, that's not a
established.
disadvantage, though, right? They don't have to have children. You have to go out for a draft.
Well, women do have to have children for our society to reproduce.
Well,
But they don't. What is this? This guy's retarded. This guy's completely retarded. All women or some women? So all adult age men have to be eligible for the draft. All adult age women do not have to have a baby for society. Like, this is even dumber than what he... I don't know if I can make... This is a 20-minute clip. I don't think I can... I've never seen stupid to this level before. I've just never seen it. Like, before... I was saying before I wasn't sure. I'm sure now. This is the dumbest human being I have ever seen in my life. This guy is equating every single adult male having to be eligible for the draft to every single adult female having to have a baby for society to survive? Wow. Wow. Jeff says it's not the first time he contradicts himself in a short time. But this isn't simple contradiction. This is complete retardation. Like, this guy's a master of non-congruent arguments. These are some of the biggest non-congruent arguments I have ever seen. Probably the biggest. Like, even Andrew... Look at Andrew Wilson's disbelief at this. I don't think Andrew Wilson has been confronted with this level of stupid before. I mean, this is almost disbelief on Andrew Wilson's face. Like, this guy's this stupid with a platform this big? I don't know. Like, Destiny says some really stupid things. I don't think I've heard him say something this stupid, though. Destiny will ramble with a bunch of diversion nonsense, like, who was it? Was it Jeff? Who said, let's see, what Destiny... Yeah, Jeff said Destiny would say, who are you to decide, etc. Yeah, he'll deflect with those diversion fallacies, which is more intelligent, right? Because then you don't look this stupid. You don't look this stupid. So in terms of pure stupidity, Flat Bob says, I take it back. Craig Sartain and Destiny's prodigy child. I mean, Destiny was really slacking because this guy does not have verbal diarrhea skills. Jeff says, and Andrew is really dumbing down his arguments. This is legit stupidity. No, I'm okay. I have to make a claim here. I'm making a claim. And I very rarely make claims. This guy might not be the Dunning-Kruger champion because he just simply doesn't have... He's too stupid to even spam fallacies. He's too stupid to even come up with a big number of fallacies. We've never seen this before. I mean, he's simply too stupid to even come up with fallacies. Because you do have to be at a certain mental capacity to even spam a fallacy. I mean, this guy's saying nothing but fallacies, but there are actually not even that many fallacies. That's the thing. This might be the stupidest individual I have ever seen.
They're not. So.
Well, I mean, they are.
I mean, they're definitely
not. Your wife
not.
is, my wife is.
Yeah.
Wait. Holy crap. So because a couple people had, that means all of them are? I don't know if I can make this. There's 7 minutes left here. This went from funny to sad really, really quickly. I mean, this is tough. I thought this was going to be super quick. What are we at here? We're at 2.5 hours? Holy crap.
But what's the birth rate? We're under replacement levels.
I know, but what you're talking about...
What? I know, what? How, if we're under replacement, what is he talking about?
Side argument.
Well, they're not.
Side argument? That's the argument he just made. What is he talking about, side argument?
So.
Well, I mean, they are.
I mean, they're definitely.
They are, and then it's a side argument?
Your wife
not.
is, my wife is.
Yeah, but what's the birth rate? We're under replacement levels.
I know, but
The birth rate.
What I'm...
We're under replacement levels.
I know, but you're talking about...
You're talking about...
about side argument.
How is that a side argument? He just made that argument. Okay, I'm not buying this as intellectual honesty. I'm just not buying it. Flat Bob says this will take 5 years for Bruce to logically analyze this bare minimum. Jeff says, if I have to predict what Destiny's gonna say, I just think what my mother would say. No joke. That's so spot on, though. That seems like because Destiny doesn't really answer questions. That's exactly what he would say. Oh man, yeah. This is actually a multi-hour conversation, so we're definitely gonna have to. A new contender has emerged. This might be the dumbest individual I have ever seen. We're gonna need to do the full metrics. We need full metrics for this.
What I'm saying is, in a society that wants to reproduce,
So now he's moving the goalpost. And diversion non sequitur fallacies on this hypothetical make-believe society instead of the society we actually live in with the current laws. Wow, I mean, that's a destiny tactic for sure.
men have to go to war and women have to bear the children.
That's true.
And so why don't we just say, well, the men go to war, the women have children?
So he wants to compel every single adult-aged woman to bear children. What a misogynist. What a misogynist. Because every single man has to be eligible for the draft. He wants to compel every single woman to bear children? Wow, the feminists are going to hate this guy.
That's why they both
When
have
are
a
they
say.
going to start having the children part of this?
I mean, my wife's doing it.
What does that have to do with the argument? Yes, some people voluntarily enlist. That's like saying, oh, well, people voluntarily enlist, so the draft is cool because some people voluntarily enlist. Wow, we've never seen mental disability like this before. I mean, wow. Wow. I don't even know what to say anymore.
Yeah, but
Your
I
wife's
mean,
doing it, so shouldn't they have the right to vote? You're not fucking fighting war, are you?
Wow, dropping F-bombs now. Wow, this guy's white flag is up. He's got nothing left. He's starting to drop F-bombs. How old is this guy? Hold on, let's get an age on this give. This goof is 43 years old. Can you believe this goof is 43 years old? How do you reach 43 years of age and be this stupid?
men, well,
Nor am
but
I.
is there the potential for that through the draft?
Well, like just the potential for them to have children. You say they're not.
The compelled potential, retard. The compelled potential. There is no compelled potential for women to have children. How is this guy this stupid? He doesn't understand the difference. Like, how is it possible? How is it possible? Alright, we need a new poll. Is this the, Alright, new poll is up. Is Kisin the stupidest public figure, man in quotations? I don't know what the soy levels are. I don't know what his identification is. Alive. I mean, he might be the stupidest individual I have ever seen. I've never seen anybody make arguments this dumb. And that includes Craig, Destiny, and Sartain. So far, 100% yes. Oh, man. Man, we're giving Craig some credit here. I don't think Craig is stupider than this guy. I mean, maybe he is. I don't know. The metrics are tough. He can definitely spam fallacies faster than this guy. But spamming fallacies takes a certain amount of mental faculty. If you're a complete vegetable, you're not even capable of spamming fallacies. Certainly not a lot of fallacies. It's 80-20 right now. 80% yes. If you voted no, please post in the chat who you think is stupider than this guy. Jeff says his body language is legit. Bruce, this is no act. His eyes indicate genuine interaction, this last piece you played. It's tough. It's tough to dissect that because clearly he's triggered. Notice how, like a 4-year-old, he mimicked Andrew making fun of staying at home and making slightly less money potentially. And he mimicked that with getting blown up and dying with the same tone. You're saying he's legitimate with it? I mean, I don't understand. Like, I don't know. It's just this level of stupidity is just so extreme. All right, 83% say yes. I think this is the first poll we ever had where 0% were too triggered to answer. I mean, this guy has really, really climbed the ranks of stupidity. Flat Bob says, I'll take a page from his partner's book. There's a bunch of people that I can't think of that agree with me. I wish we would see his partner's face here more often. How is this guy 43? I don't understand this. I don't know. He does kind of come off as sincere for some of it. I don't know about all of it.
Well, I could say you're not being drafted. Same.
No, you can't. It's no. There is no equivalency, and I can point out the distinction.
Yeah, the compulsion thing.
The
Yeah.
compulsion.
Oh, so he does understand. So he is bad faith. See, now we're in a quagmire here. Look at this quagmire. He's shown enough mental capacity, or did he simply forget? Because his mental capacity is so limited, he can't keep that in mind while he's talking and only after he stops talking. Is that what we're saying here?
Yes.
But for a society to work, men have to go to war and women have to have kids.
No. And what kind of weird society is that?
I agree, but you need to get to the they're having kids part before you can tell me that there's some equivalency to men being drafted, because they're not having kids.
And you're not being drafted.
But
He also pointed so he doesn't understand the compulsion. He just said the compulsion. He just said he understood the difference. And yet he's repeating the same argument. Oh man, I'm exhausted from laughing this hard. Oh man. I've just never seen somebody this stupid. I've never seen it. I've just never seen it. Oh man. We're going on 3 hours and analyzing a 20-minute clip with this Kisin guy. He's setting all sorts of records.
I can be compelled because I've signed up for the draft. Where have they signed up to have kids?
And that's the face of defeat right there. Maybe he is intellectually honest. If that's not the face of defeat, I don't know what is. I mean, this guy's mentally gone. This guy's brain dead.
This is a splitting hairs argument.
What? How is that split? Wait. Holy false premise. Appeal to invincible ignorance. No, he's not good faith. Look at the smile he had when he realized he was defeated.
Not having kids.
And you're not being drafted.
But I can be compelled because I've signed up for the draft. Where have they signed up to have kids?
He's not good faith. I mean, he's definitely retarded. He's the stupidest person I've ever seen. But he's not good faith here. Pretending it's splitting hairs. Man, what a cope. Yeah, you might die or earn slightly less money. That's just splitting hairs. Splitting hairs would be whether or not you get blown up or shot in the face. Or possibly put in a wheelchair and, well, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Like, this guy is so weirdly stupid. Oh, man. Flat Bob says, brainwaves are flatlining. Thank God I'm drunk for this.
splitting hairs argument.
I think it's not. I think that the idea that my children can be drafted, or I could be drafted even at my age, because perhaps I have knowledge which would be useful to the United States military. They could do it in 5 seconds. They could bring me on. They in Ukraine, they draft 60-year-old men. Okay, if they need you, they're going to take you, and you can peel potatoes or whatever it is they need.
And the other thing that makes it the most non-congruent argument ever is this retard Kisin. Even if a woman does get, like, what percentage of women only get intentionally pregnant? I mean, I don't know if they even have those exact stats, because they would have to admit to wanting or not wanting the child that they have. But what happens when they get unintentional, or even intentionally, then they change their mind? They don't have to risk their life in childbirth. They just get an abortion. So what is this brain-dead retard? Like, this retard is spewing the most non-congruent arguments. The greatest false equivalencies we have ever seen in the history of debate. And not only that, I mean, let's get the, let's get the receipts on the screen here for a second. So not only do they not have to risk childbirth, but they also genocide unborn humans every 35 seconds. An unborn human is genocided. 930,160 abortions were committed. So that's like if somebody was drafted, can they opt out? They can't opt out just by they feel like it, right? But this brain-dead goof Kisin, I mean, this guy's a master of the false equivalency. I've never seen false equivalency on this scale before. I've never seen retardation on this scale before, ever. Not even in flat earth debate.
Right? Women do not have to do that. They do not have to sign up for selective service.
Yeah.
They are not compelled and will never be compelled.
It's asymmetrical in that way.
They can avoid pregnancy, though, right? And if you're saying that they have a duty to have children...
I'm not saying they have a duty.
But
so then there's no equivalency. This is why he, like... he just spent 10 minutes equivocating this. Now he's saying there's no duty or compulsion, so why did he spend 10 minutes on it if it has nothing to do with it?
you have a duty to go fight a war if you get drafted.
Correct.
Oh, okay. And this is fair how? Where do we get to the fairness?
Well, not everything has to look exactly symmetrical.
Well, how is it symmetrical in any way? Look at his friend. the stupor. Look at his friend, just the fluoride stare. Oh man, this reminds me of that old saying. It's better that everybody think you're stupid than open your mouth and prove it. Now, his friend did open his mouth and prove it, but only once, right? How many times did Kisin open his mouth and prove it? Oh, man.
But your argument initially was, where's a privilege that men enjoy and women don't? Well, I would argue, in a function
That wasn't his argument. Kisin, that was your argument. You claimed that.
in a society where where we want to reproduce, women end up with the burden of childbearing and child rearing
In this hypothetical society?
in a way that men don't. It's a fairly simple and obvious argument, right?
And yet they're privileged when it comes to custody and divorces. They're privileged when it comes to child support. They're privileged when it...
And here's Andrew Wilson, he's tired of beating the dead horse of Kisin's retardation, so now it looks like just for the viewers' benefit, he just moved on to just obliterating Kisin in different ways here.
comes to alimony. They're privileged when it comes to all of these things. They have every advantage when it comes to having the child. And so it's like,
It's
no...
a different argument than what I'm...
Wait, how is that a different argument? What advantage do you have if you get drafted? You have the advantage of getting killed in different ways? Where's the advantage there? Man, this guy's stupid.
saying is the burden of bearing the child is uniquely with women.
But it's not it's by choice only. There's no compulsion. And this retard even admitted that. And yet he forgot it, other than the second that he admitted it?
In the same way that the burden of fighting in war is uniquely with men.
So it's an ontological argument. The nature of woman is to have children. Nature of men is to go to war.
Right, and so
Then the woman needs to be fulfilling her nature. Then, right?
well, my woman is, and so is yours,
Yes,
right?
but most
So
women
I would
aren't.
insist for my woman to have the right to vote on that basis. That she's contributing, frankly, at this point, way more than I am.
Drafting collective, right?
Yeah,
So then the duty's collective.
yeah.
Then why isn't childbirth?
This guy gets set up and destroyed so easily. Look, and his friend, you know what's funny? His friend doesn't even realize what happened. Look at his friend's face. His friend doesn't even realize the setup and execution, but Kisin does. He realizes he's getting just eviscerated point after point after point. It almost looks like he's getting sick of getting destroyed here. Jeff says, also the dumber an opponent, the less condescending Andrew usually is. Yeah. Oh, man. I would have let this guy have it if I was Andrew, though. I mean, this level of... mostly because of the mocking of men getting blown up and killed in war. Like, who cares? He's got nothing.
I don't.
Then why isn't childbirth?
I don't understand. You're saying
No, that's not what he's saying, retard. That's what you're equivocating. He's pointing out what you're equivocating, you retard. How is this idiot not understanding that Andrew is pointing out his own Kisin's equivocation? How is this guy this stupid? How is it possible?
for women to have the right to vote, they must have a duty to bear children.
Yeah, well, if you're saying that there's a duty for men to go to war, and you're saying that the reason that
Exactly. If you're saying, Kisin, that's what you're saying in your retarded stupor.
they do is because that's their ontological nature, and the ontological nature of women is to have children. Okay, I can concede that argument. But we've just ran into a problem then, because if one is collective and then the other is collective, why do I have to fulfill my duty, but they don't have to fulfill theirs?
Well, I never said that I thought it was a collective duty for women to have children.
Exactly. Which is why it's non-congruent, retard. Exactly. Like, I don't know. Maybe he is intellectually honest. What kind of it? Okay, no. He's intellectually dishonest, but he's so stupid. He can't even be intellectually dishonest when he wants to, because he's too stupid to do so. That's what we're saying here. I think I figured it out. That's why he keeps digging his own grave so many times, because most of the time he would choose the option of intellectual dishonesty, but he's too stupid to understand what that would be. So he ends up being accidentally intellectually honest, where he wouldn't be if he was smart enough not to be. I think we figured it out. This is now the Bruce McGuire theory. In the chat, everybody, do you think I nailed this? He's intellectually dishonest, but he's too stupid to take that path, so he ends up accidentally being more honest than he wants to be, because he doesn't have the mental capacity to understand which option is intellectually honest versus dishonest relative to what Andrew is calling him out on. I think I got it. Jeff says narcoleptic friend at least knows when he's outsmarted, but probably still trying to come up with a name like Pearl of Leonardo or something. Okay, I think I finally figured out Kisin.
But it's a collective duty for men to go.
Yeah.
Well, then again, that sounds like privilege.
So where's the privilege? He's still, yeah, so Kisin was the one arguing that the men have the privilege, but he's been unable to substantiate anything and only made himself look not only just completely foolish, but he possibly made himself look like the stupidest man in the history of the internet.
Yeah, in the same way that fire safety in your own house is a personal thing that you do.
What does fire safety in your house have to do with collective duties? In the same way. Oh man. Andrew Wilson's not comprehending here, neither am I. What oh man, how is that the same way? Oh, I can't handle this. I can't handle it. We only have 4 minutes left, but I don't know if I can make this. I don't know if I can make this. Jeff says, I think you're right. Bad faith, but unable to execute. Oh man, Flapbob says, I said he's stupid for a while. Regardless of his motives, stupid is as stupid does. Because of reasons, stupidity unfolds. Not just reasons, but I like how he added in the same way. How is a fire in your own personal house have anything to do with collective duty of a society, of the draft, of childbirth? Like, is he saying you elect to start a fire? You, by choice, have a fire in your own house, then you put it... Like, is it possible to come up with a more non-congruent argument than that? Is it possible? Is it possible to think of something even less related than what he just did? I mean, I'm trying to think of something. I don't know. Is there something less in the same way? It's like he tried to pick something... I can't deal with this. If you smoke in bed, you're more likely to get drafted. I can't do it, man. I don't know if I can make this.
But if there's a fire in the neighborhood, it's the collective duty of the neighbors to get together and try and... Right?
What does that have to do with anything? Wait, what? What is a... Look at Andrew Wilson's face. He's like, what? Are you on crack? Are you on crack, boy? We should ask Andrew Wilson if he's ever heard something that stupid. I mean, yeah, obviously, if your land is being invaded, people are gonna band together to defend their land. What does that have to do with the draft where you go, where you're obligated to become a mercenary to go shoot other children in another country? What does that have to do with a fire in your house? Oh, and how is that general here? Are we back? Who's still here? Who's still here? YouTube can't handle this? YouTube triggered by fire safety. Oh, man. Jeff says, Andrew is only thinking he should own a mansion if this guy is, in quotation, successful. He looks really amazed, almost scared. Oh, man. All right, hold on. Let me see where we left off. Okay, so, yeah, I have to rewind it a little bit. It cut out earlier than I thought, so let's replay this real quick.
Yeah, I agree with you. The compulsion element is different, but not everything is exactly the same.
And I was laughing for 10 minutes here when the power cut out. Not everything is exactly the same. That's retardation on the level of Craig's over time things happen. And yeah, yeah. I mean, this Kisin is yeah, this is the stupidity crowd. What a genius. Not everything is the same. Exactly. Exactly. Including the privilege that women have and men don't have. It's not the same. That's the point, retard. It's not the same.
I'm not even asking, like, I agree with you. Getting drafted and having babies is different. We can agree with that,
Yeah.
right?
Both important, though, right? For
Both
society.
important. But the idea here that we are talking about, which should be equal, is the idea of duty. If we're talking about the compellence of you, if your country drafted you, even if you're in terrible shape, and they told you, look, we're in a collective war effort and we need you. And you're going to come in here and just cook food because our soldiers need food, right? Are you going to go do it?
I'd do it voluntarily, to be honest, but yeah.
Yeah, you would do it.
I wouldn't
Okay.
be very useful, but yeah.
I like how he has to spam those qualifiers. Because that's what narcissists do. They can't simply answer the question.
Terrible cook, terrible
Now
soldier,
you're
He's still going.
compelled to do that.
right?
And part of your duty and honor is that you have to go do it.
Sure.
I agree with this, okay? But if we have a compelling duty that men have an ontological function, only men can do this, therefore they should, why does that duty not apply the other way? That to me is...
And that's the disability in this goof's, whatever's left of his deranged mind, his deficient mind. He's too mentally disabled to understand what a non-congruent argument is, what a false equivalency is. He just can't grasp it. I mean, preschool kids can, but this guy, he just can't. He can't.
It's inconsistent, and it's a hole in the worldview. It makes no sense to me.
I agree with you, it's inconsistent, but that's because the acts are not equivalent. Like,
But the acts aren't what's being... Ooh. He's also the goof that just did the intonation, oh, you go get drafted, who cares, right? Not equivalent.
not everything is the same.
Not everything is the same. Really. We didn't know that. Including whether or not everybody should vote.
I
So he's trying to make that the same, even though not everything is the same.
think in order for the defense of the realm, so to speak, you'll have to compel all the men to fight in certain very
Where
rare
do those men come
circumstances.
from?
Women. Right.
So then one duty's being fulfilled.
No, I'm all with you in terms of we need a higher birth rate.
He's just not with him in feels over reels. Or reels over feels. He's about feels over reels. Andrew is about reels over feels. So he's just not with him on that.
I just don't think duty is the way to get there. Anyway,
Wait, couldn't you just... I'll just wrap with this.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
But notice how he was the one who brought up child. Like, Andrew Wilson wasn't even talking about having children. That's what this Kisin goof brought up. And look at this guy. He's still sitting here with his hands folded. Is he still trying to think of a name? Is he still trying to think of a name? Oh, man.
It's
okay,
just
but
it's
couldn't
a time
you,
thing.
when you say duty,
Yeah.
can't you instill the ideas of duty and honor even absent legislation through propaganda, things like that?
Sure. Yeah.
Those are the routes that I would be more apt to move towards.
Well, yeah. To be honest with you, man, this is
Again with the qualifier, to be honest, as if he's always dishonest, which I think he is. He just wasn't smart. He was too stupid to take the intellectual dishonesty fork several times. He would have if he was smart enough to.
the thing is, like, actually, a lot of this discourse, I think, is misguided because the vast majority of women actually do want to have kids.
What? Where did he hallucinate that from? Let's go to the receipts. So obviously there are different polls with slightly different numbers, but here's a relatively recent one from USA Today. So keep in mind this Kisin goof said vast majority. So we're going to see whether numbers are his strong suit. Just basic numbers. I mean, this goof is so retarded he can't just go on Google for 2 seconds. Like, how retarded is this guy? So some of the polls are polling women 40 and up who may or may not be able to have children, so that's obviously an issue. But let's just look at the women under 35 and under. Because, yeah, maybe the majority would want kids later in life when they're too old to have them and they might have regrets, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about practicality and a bit, you know, some men want to be able to birth children maybe, but what you want, like, if you're not able to, your want doesn't matter, right? So this is a USA Today poll, or USA Today report from March 2025. 41% of women under 35 want kids. Now, keep in mind, that's not how many will have them. Perhaps much less will have them, who knows? That's how many want.
But there are circumstances I think is misguided, because the vast majority of women actually, this discourse I think is misguided, because the vast majority of women actually do want to have kids.
Like, the level of retardation here. It's misguided because he's a retard and everything he's saying is untrue. According to USA Today, 41% of US women under 35 want kids. And even if they're capable of having kids later, I mean, they can have health issues and such, so they wouldn't be able to serve in the military either for the purpose of that comparison. I mean, what a retard. What a retard.
But there are circumstances in their life which make them less likely to do so.
Now he's hallucinating about circumstance.
And so if we, I mean, you made this point yourself, there are countries, they're not having as many results.
He's just stuttering all over the place. Like, I've never seen somebody this eviscerated. I mean, this level of just absolute evisceration. The stupidest man title is now going to Konstantin Kisin.
As people would like to think, unfortunately, places like Hungary. But I think...
Hungary? You brought up one country?
The way to get people to have more kids is to get obstacles out of their way, not to compel them through the draft system.
Who said... Wait. Who said women should be compelled to the draft? Andrew said he was not in favor of that. So why is he bringing it up in his brain-dead stupor? Even his friend is looking at him like he's retarded. Even his retarded friend is now like, he's like, are you retarded? Look at his friend. Even his friend is looking at him. Like, Andrew specifically said he didn't want that. Oh, this is so tough. This is tough to get through. This is really tough. Wow. Wow.
Here's your ticket, have 2 kids. You know what I mean? I don't think that's going to work, but it seems we agree on that.
But how is getting all these degrees make it less likely for women to have children? So is that the obstacle? Is allowing feminism, women to vote, and going to college, and getting into the workforce? Those seem to be those are the obstacles to having children. So he's in favor of removing all those?
Anyway, Andrew, it's been great having you on.
Throwing that white flag fast now.
You too, guys. I really appreciate the combo.
Going into this year, I told myself I was finally going to stop guessing about my health.
So he's finally getting a mental health check? Is he finally doing a mental health check, a mental disability check? I mean, this guy's just stupid. I mean, this is the stupidest man I have ever seen, and that's saying a lot from all the logical analyses that I do. Wow. Wow. I mean, this is just sheer disbelief on my part. I've never seen stupidity on this scale. I'm with Andrew Wilson and his expression here and just sheer disbelief of this level of retardation. Hope everybody enjoyed this 3-hour plus analysis on a 20-minute clip, because that is the level of stupidity we were dealing with Konstantin Kisin. If you want to support the podcast, help logic and reason return to a world where it is quickly going extinct, as perhaps Kisin has demonstrated here better than anybody else, you could donate to our PayPal. Check the link in the description. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Patreon. This is Bruce McGuire signing off. Catch you guys next time.